I left it in the last plus expenses where it was on because we're having some weird audio issue, and I restarted Discord, and then it crashed when I was trying to restart it, and that reset the thing. So it was recording from my computer mic. And then you were like, I don't know, you sound a little tinny. And I checked and I switched it. So I left that in the recording, and you can hear
the switch.
And then the switch. And it's like, oh, now I'm on the good mic. So
yeah,
here we are. Welcome, friends old and new, to the Unwritten Earth Symposium podcast, the show where I sit down with my good friend Epitaya Ravishal to talk about games, their design, their creation, their play, and their sharing with others.
It's also the show where I sit down with my good friend Nathan Paoletta to interview a bunch of fellow game enthusiasts and designers at Origins. That's not our normal remit. This is what we've decided to do this time.
It would be pretty wild if every other week we went to Origins.
Yeah.
We
would have very 101 very boring episodes. Mm-hmm. And then one super exciting episode. Wait, no.
Other way. We'd have 20.
The other way.
Yeah.
20
we'd have 25 25
boring.
very boring episodes, and then one exciting one.
Yeah.
And here it is, the exciting one. Professional game designers do math. That's how we do this.
I love calculators.
Anyway. We attended the Origins Game Fair in sunny and also cloudy and also slightly rainy Columbus, Ohio, over the previous weekend. If you are not familiar, this is a game convention put on by Gamma. I always forget what the A's stand for in Gamma. The letters might not stand for anything anymore. On their website, it's Gamma : the Tabletop Game Association.
Yeah. Game Association, Manufacturer Association.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. We should have asked Jim. Jim probably could have told us.
Yes.
Anyway, this is the trade organization for the general tabletop gaming industry, mostly board games. And then we get to be a little, the truly true portion is also included. But
it looks like it just might be Game Manufacturers Association. They just, instead of GMA,
instead of GMA, it's GA. Okay, that also makes sense. Anyway, it is one of the stops on my convention circuit pre-pandemic, and it was a triumphant return. Well, for both of us, you used to go to it longer ago when you were more of a Midwestern, a young Midwestern man.
Yeah. I got my roots in the Middle West, and so I would end up going. I remember. See, I used to live in Ohio, but that was before I played the Truly Trues, and so I didn't really know about it then. But when I moved to Wisconsin, it was still close enough to drive to. Well, it's still close enough to drive to now where I live. I don't know why I don't go to it more often, but it was very, very exciting to return to it this year.
I don't remember if we talked about it on the show. I think we probably talked about it in some plus expenses at some point. But earlier in the year, we were deciding whether we would try to have a booth at Origins, because it kind of is in the zone for where we want to be presenting our games. It's kind of like when looking at the convention scene, it's kind of like, all right, what's the mix of audience that we think is interested, similar companies and designers doing their stuff, and also just like achievability, like in terms of like how much it costs and where it is and all that stuff. And when we're looking at the calendar, Origins was kind of the first one that was in the Venn diagram of like the people we want to reach at a time and a place we actually could go. But we have some things, but what we really want to have at a booth is Swords Without Master. So when it was fairly clear that we would not have that, we're not like behind. It's just it wasn't going to be done by the middle of June.
That was not our schedule to begin with, and we weren't going to be able to shift the schedule that dramatically in order to accommodate it. So
we decided just to go, just kind of to play, hang out, see some friends, hit up the Games on Demand, which is the great it's not really ad hoc because it's scheduled, and it's not really pickup games because the games are specific. However, it is you do not have to register in advance. You just go to the games on demand area at the time slots, and then whatever the GMs are presenting are the menu of options, and then whatever ends up getting filled, you play. More about that in the episode to come.
Yes. I just now realized that Origins might be responsible for all of this.
It might be the source, perhaps the origin, if you will.
Well, yeah. Well, you know how you look back on the events of your life and you're like, "Ooh, if that did not happen, this wouldn't." And there's a million billion things that, like, once you start doing that, you'll just notice, like, all of them all together. But, like, specifically, there's this one pivot point at Origins where I went to it in the year before I moved out to New York, and Nerd NYC had a table there, and I picked up, like, a card from their table. I remembered them or something, like, and when I moved to New York, the week I moved there, I joined the Nerd NYC boards and, like, went to a picnic where I met Jared Sorensen, Luke Crane, just like a ton of people who, and not just like game designers, like people who were like making cookbooks and selling them, and like meeting those people and being like, wait, I could do this. I like, because Dread wasn't out yet. And so I just sat down and finished writing Dread, like, because I had the whole crisis of like, is this even possible? Like,
right.
How does anyone even make a role-playing game? Like, has anyone ever really done it?
Right.
Without thinking, of course, people have done it, and they've like, people have done it without big publishers or whatnot. I'm not saying because of Origins, but Origins was how I got in touch with that crew and ended up like learning that this was possible, like convincing myself, let's just do it. Now, to be fair to Nat Barmore, co-author of Dread, like, he was telling me the whole time it was possible. Like, sometimes you need examples, or something has to change.
Yeah, I feel like going to Origins was just something that worked out for me in terms of my schedule every year. And I was looking back through emails because I was trying to figure out how many I'd been to.
Right.
And so I think I did. There's in one of my emails, it was something about like flying from Boston. And I was like, okay, so I think I went to one while I was still living in Boston, maybe. And then the rest were after I moved to Chicago. I never sold there. I always just went into get games on demand. And that was just it was an easier weekend or whatever, 4 days to be gone than Gen Con. It was cheaper.
Yeah.
Like way cheaper. Even though Gen Con is actually closer to drive, but it was like, a nice like day.
Smaller crowd.
Yeah. Smaller crowd. And the food is great. We talk about this in the interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a precise, like, this is why I started going to Origins, but it's just kind of like the Venn diagram of people doing interesting work, cool games, and just like people who like were just a lot of the friends I made were in this scene there. So yeah, so it was really, really nice to go back and have that experience of like, so much has changed, but also nothing has changed.
Yes.
A lot of the vibe is the same, but there's also like some physical stuff that's different. Also, I feel like the dealer hall this year was way more interesting than previous. Like, I feel like in previous years, the dealer hall at Origins has been the last thing I was interested in. And this year, as you will hear, there was a lot more energy to it. Anyway, so what we did was sit down with some of our friends, old and new, to talk about the show and how things were going. And I think as the weekend went on, these got longer and longer.
Yes.
And yeah, so the bulk of this episode is those interviews, those conversations. They're kind of organized around a couple broad themes, in that for some people we were talking about like games on demand specifically, and the experience of playing there and what that means and how that was going at this show. And then there was also a track of conversations about like boothing and being in the dealer hall,
selling your games to strangers.
Yeah, and things of that nature. So you'll hear all of that. These were, live. I mean, they're edited, but we were sitting down with one mic to have these conversations. So they are, you get a little
sloppy, little. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the sound. There's lots of background noise, whatever. I think everything sounds fine. Like
human slop, though. Like it's human slop.
yeah, the good kind. Slop complimentary. There is one significant change because we had a big group interview where other podcasters were there and they had like real
equipment,
and we were outside, so like that was actually probably way better. But you'll hear it, like that one sounds very different, just because the mic is we had a different piece of equipment. The other ones are more like conversational, where we just had a mic in the middle of us while we're talking. So but just be prepared for that. But yeah, I think we should just let all that speak for itself.
Yeah.
Me and you are going to do a little chat, a little kind of debrief reflection as our plus expenses for this episode, which unless something super spicy jumps into there, which it might, we're planning to put that on the public feed. So you'll hear that next week in the regular feed.
No spice on the public feed. That's our policy.
Well.
No, I know what you mean.
So I'm just going to run down real quick it's in the show notes, but our interviews here include conversations with Dr. Evan Torner, Jim Crocker, friend of the show. We're all friends here. Tracy, the other Tracy.
You got yourself into trouble.
I know, whose last name I cannot recall, but if you look up the other Tracy, you'll find Tracy. We talked to Gene Koo. Our group conversation is with a group that was boothing together that includes Brian Flaherty and Elliot Davis from Many Sided Media. Elliot Davis also publishes under More Blueberries. Videtya Valetti, game designer and educator, and Nell and Allie of Spilled Coffee Creatives, which is a collective out of New York, also doing games. So that was super great. And we also talked to Vincent Baker, who you might know from games such as Poisoned and
The Sundered Lands. In a Wicked Age.
And In a Wicked Age. That's one I was trying to remember. And In a Wicked Age. So that's also delightful. Listen all the way to the end of this episode. There are a couple fun little outtakes. And also we get Vincent on the mic saying something you never would have expected. And we're just going to get into the interviews now. So just a reminder that you can find all of our links at unwrittenearths.com, including links to our Discord. We do talk about Playtest Tuesday a little bit in some of our interviews, so that's where Playtest Tuesday happens. And just links to all of our other socials and stores and everything are there. The podcast is by us, go us. Thank you to all of our interviewees for the generosity of their time and just the great conversations that we had. Our music is by Will Yobst, so thank you, Will, for keeping it all together for us. Anything else? Did I forget anything?
Nope.
All right. Well, then here we go to Origins 2026. All right.
Okay.
All right. So we are play testing our idea for the live Origins Spectacular for the Unwritten Earth Symposium podcast. Live.
Spectacular.
Yeah. Where we are hanging out with some of our friends, old and new.
Chums,
yeah. And asking some questions. I'm Nathan Paletta. I'm here with my good friend, Ebediah Ravishal.
I'm Ebediah Ravishal. I'm here with my good friend, Dr. Evan Torner.
Yeah, Dr. Evan Torner. I've known these guys for probably 20 years.
Yeah.
To your chagrin.
Yeah, I know. This is a delight.
I would say that our relationship often involves weird and early stage play experiences and play tests and stuff that's a little a little rough, a little not quite for public consumption, not always but often. And so you're the perfect person for us to try this out.
Absolutely. No, I prefer games in their embryonic form when they're all finalized and published, and there's something sad about it.
You're like telling a funeral.
Yeah. Well, because a game is never finished, right? And so when you're talking about this finished product, it's just a lie that you're telling everyone.
It's just like a graduation.
Okay,
maybe
it's a commencement.
you can be bittersweet about it, but it's getting out there. It's getting its own life.
True.
That's probably a better comparison.
This is a grim day if I'm the ray of sunshine in the room.
No, we're all getting spun up on this year's convention. It's been a long time since I've been to Origins. Mm-hmm. We were trying to do this math, and I think 2018 was the last time I was here, because it was living the convention lifestyle, and then I took a year off because I was totally burned out, and then the next year was both the pandemic year and also the birth of child year. So it's taken me a while to get back.
Origins didn't happen in 2020. Very important historical fact. And when it came back in 2021, no one knew what to do. So, I guess I should say I co-founded Games on Demand here at Origins. Technically, it was around by the time I got to organizing it, but it was literally 8 people on a whiteboard. Mm-hmm. And then we, turned it in. We basically just copied Gen Con's model. And then Steve Segedy came over and was a very active presence. And then we kind of, thanks to Jim Crocker and Kira McGran, were able to kind of set up in this very specific room called the Fairfield in the Hyatt where we're sitting right now. And that Fairfield room has been our home ever since. And so, basically from 2020 to 2022, we didn't have a real sense of, can we go back and do this again? And I had a kid, and I was having a second kid at that time, and I was like, man, I cannot lead this organization anymore. But in 2023, there was no one to step up again, so I led the charge, and then I handed off the reins to the last minute to Jason Cox, and then Laz and Liz Stong both stepped up to take it over, and they have been wonderful. I'm just saying, if they're overhearing me, they're absolutely wonderful. So it is. It's this kind of convention within a convention that we run.
For the uninitiated, can you give a brief pitch of what Games on Demand is?
Yeah, so convention signups naturally suck. That is the premise on which this rests. People who already know about the game or are already probably interested in the game will find your game in the program and sign up for it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of rare that you're going to find your new players or community through that mechanism, though it can happen. We were often finding that it was all the same people who were signing up for stuff anyway, and that then over in the exhibitors hall, like IPR, Indie Press Revolution, and some other publishers, they weren't really able to properly demo their games. Mm-hmm. And so we said, we'll be your demo space. Is also, we'll let game masters run whatever they want. Yeah. And we had a number of fairly well-known indie designers even back then say, I would love that space where I can just show up and run something, and I'm not official program item that people are going to knife each other over, and that's really important. Mm-hmm. So one of the kind of secret sauces we have with Games on Demand is it's not about the players and it's not about the organizers of the convention. It's about the game masters. Whatever they want, we give them. Right. Whatever they want to run, that's great. Whatever slot they want to hold it in, that's fine. We even have a little game master box now with your pens and index cards. So it is. Oh. It is
relevant to your interests.
This is because I'm so out of habit that I showed up with none of that. I have to hit a CVS before, or some other market where I may find goods.
So it's sort of a convention within a convention. It's not unique to Origins. You can find one at PAX, PAX East, PAX Unplugged, Gen Con, Strategic Con, and so forth.
And they're locally organized.
Absolutely. So basically, it's that team on the ground, and occasionally there are people who come in and say, "Where can I find the head of Games on Demand?" And I usually post a picture of a Hydra. And I said, they are many, but then we are one. Right. We are just a loosely.
If you cut one of us down, 2 will replace us.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And we're a virus too. As we spread. But no, I mean, this idea then allows us to, kind of create a safe space for everybody who wants to kind of just run whatever in the middle of a game convention and have the tables ready and the players ready. Honestly, we want to deliver game masters their players.
Yeah, I think the formulation became the demand part is the players are demanding a game of some kind, and it's the game master's demanding players for this game that I want to run.
Yeah.
Because there was some translation stuff of like, well, someone walks up and it's like, oh, I want to play, the famous Dread by Epidai Ravishal. Who will run it for me? And it's like, no, that's not what we're saying. That's not what the demand is.
And again, over the years, it was often like Jason Morningstar who would say, no, I'm not going to run my big published title. I have something new and weird that I want to run, and I need 6 players for it, right? And then Sean Nittner had this weird game. He was coming in with the playtest game by John Harper called Blades in the Dark in 2016. And, it was just a game on the menu at the time, right? So that's how we roll.
Yeah. So our goal here, such as it is, was to have some questions that we're going to try and ask, a number of different people, and we'll kind of stitch everything together and kind of see, just kind of get a sense of the gestalt of the answers.
In the tradition of, but not exactly emulating the one cool thing I saw.
Oh yeah.
That goes back.
Again, right? Goes back.
It's Thursday. I haven't seen shit. That's very important.
That's the thing. We can't. Yeah, we're like, we actually can't ask that yet because no one's seen anything. But I think we have an option. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So on the show, especially in our first season, we were delving into our game libraries to find arcane gems, little nuggets within games that maybe we've forgotten or never got around to reading, or missed at the time, but now going back, like, oh, that's great. So in that tradition, one of the questions is there an arcane gem of the convention experience that you would like to unearth to share with our listeners of, like, this is why, like, going to Origins in particular or conventions in general is, like, neat and cool and fun and different and useful. So that kind of thing. And then... what was the other one?
What was the other one? It was, basically we were just at a convention game. Has somebody ever done anything that impressed you in some way, or like that you've taken? You're like, I'm going to start doing that from now on. Like something that has influenced your game playing that you picked up by playing strangers.
Okay, I'm going to ruminate on that second one while answering the first one.
You only need to answer one.
Oh, good. Okay, then
I feel like there's like, you're either like, oh, I have an answer to this, but not the other one, and different people, it's going to be with, different ones.
The unearth, gem for Origins, and again, I've been going on and off for 25 years, is eating. Just again, when I went to Gen Con for the first time, I thought, wow, the reason why this place is so desperate is no one can get anything decent to eat. Mm-hmm. And it's gotten better over the years with the sort of food truck situation, but it's still always sort of desperate, being like...
Well, the scale is so big, it's like impossible.
70,000
it's like impossible to make a decent, like... experience of, like, I want to go somewhere, eat with some people, and come back.
Yeah.
So Origins, when I started going, was maybe 8,000 to 9,000 attendees, and then it grown up to 18,000, I think, over the years. But the Columbus area can absorb that and deal with it no problem, right? Even when we're running parallel to Pride Weekend, it's still, they're like, we have enough restaurants, we have enough places for you to go, and of course we have the North Market.
Yeah.
And the North Market, it never remains the same. There are some staples there, but there's always new things coming in, new offerings, and for those people who, say, go to PAX Unplugged and go to the Reading Street Market, this is a similar experience where you're able to, like, kind of leave the convention setting and feel like you're a cosmopolitan human also on vacation, and not just like a hamster crammed into a cage with the one spout you get to nibble from.
Yeah.
And
very expensive.
Very expensive found. Yeah. I mean, again, my good friend and co-designer Kyle Latino and I shared, I think it was a $40 miserable pizza outside at Gen Con at Gen Con 2023 or so, and I'm like, I love you, Kyle, and I love this, but I don't love what we just paid for. Yeah, exactly. Everything is perfect about this situation except for the food. But no, the eating really is an important dimension where you can always think about whatever cuisine you would desire, and there probably is a good example of that somewhere nearby, and that then in the days of yore, like say of Google Plus era, there would be these massive Google Plus meetups that would happen where they would kind of all dogpile a restaurant, and it would be a very good restaurant, and so you would sort of have this this weird vibe of like everyone from the internet is all getting around the table and meeting, and also they somehow have to deal with a restaurant that is now slammed with 28 orders all at once. That is also going to deliver very good food, but 28 orders all at once is a little much. And I was like, oh, this is a nice sort of negotiation of scale between like what we're bringing to the table and what Columbus is bringing to the table. So I really do think that, you know, in a completely non-gaming sense, I continue to come to Origins because I can eat well here.
No, it's breaking bread is how we like make. I mean, there's two things, right? We make friends at the table, not to invoke something not to invoke friends at the table, but you know that's you know, it's a social hobby. That's what happens. That's where we meet all these people that we're going to be talking to. But then you go and eat with them, and like that's when you like start solidifying those friendships.
I was at a not a gaming convention, but a programming convention where I witnessed a good food design. Wait a minute, what are we looking for here? Good food eating design. Anyways. Basically what they did was they had got a bunch of volunteers who were people that people might want to talk to that would otherwise normally be clustered together talking to themselves. As often happens in like communities where you start getting like, you start making friends who are also making games, and then you become a clique without trying. Like it just happens. So you take that, you split that up, and each one of them is going to a separate restaurant, and they hold up like a sign that says, like, as soon as 6 people join me, I'm going to that restaurant. And it was great.
It's restaurant on demand.
Yeah,
right.
Restaurant on demand.
That's exactly it. And, you know, they're taking the system that they didn't even know was also used for gaming elsewhere, and are using it because again, you know, in those old situations, we would say, okay, I've got 3 or 4 foodie friends next to me, and that is the group, and I'm not going to let anyone else in. Not because I'm trying to be exclusive, but we need to solve the eating problem. We need to eat well, and we need to eat quickly.
Yeah, there's a tension of the like, oh, let's all go eat. And then all of a sudden you have, like, say, 28 people trying to figure out where to go. And even if you go to somewhere, then it takes forever. Yeah, that's definitely, over the years, I feel like people kind of got more on board with, like, all right, how about me, you, and you? Let's go eat. Like,
Well, and Jason Morningstar actually created the sort of anti-design for that, where he says, you know, when I go to lunch, I will like bug out in the least social fashion possible and eat quickly and alone somewhere.
That's
and you know, and that was his own choice to kind of preserve his mental state, while also knowing that his attention is sort of valued by different members of the community in a particular way. And so he was like, "Look, I'm not going to play who gets to be my lunch date, so I will opt out of that game." And I think that is really, you know, it's solid to actually think about that dimension of convention planning where, you know, you ask, well, how are people able to gather? Where are they able to gather? In what forms? And what are they able to have?
Well, thanks, Evan.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for playtesting this.
Whatever this is.
Pod testing.
Let's beat up this format and see what's inside of it.
Yeah. Here we are again with the Unwritten Earth Symposium podcast. I'm Nathan Paletta, of course, and I am here with my good friend, Epidai Ravishal.
I'm Epidai Ravishal, and I'm here with my good friend, Jim Crocker. We go back. Jim Crocker is not just my friend, but formerly my friendly local game store owner.
Yes. It's true. Yeah. Those two kind of coincided, sort of overlapped. Yes, I think that's how the one came about. Yeah, with the other. Yeah.
Your store is the reason why I have a giant neon Superman symbol in my
Oh my God, that's right. You won that at one of our birthday parties.
Yes.
That's right. We gave it away one year, and you won it in the raffle.
Actually, let's be fair about this, because I think the truth is, friend of the show, Sam Anderson, won it, and gave it to Emily and I as a housewarming gift. So if this is going over the air, he needs to hear this. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Sam. Sam, who was also a valued customer at Modern Myths, my store. Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And to be clear, friend of the show, Jim likes games.
in case you're not putting these two things together as a listener,
right?
Every so often.
Oh yeah, I guess you guys have invoked my retail operation before.
We've invoked you. Yes, like to gain some kind of mechanical advantage. We have invoked you as a resource. Well, we played a couple games together.
We literally just got done with a playtest.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
Okay.
But yes, we did.
You can scrub that. Scrub that. That's,
Scholars, you'll hear about this on the show later.
Excellent.
No, we did. It was good. It was productive.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah. We played an excellent game of Imp of the Perverse.
That game was
that was a great kickoff to the show for me.
Was that the first game?
That was the first game I played. What? Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh, Imp of the Perverse is a hit. This show. This is I'm excited about this.
Yeah. So the games on demand model, in case it hasn't come up in our other talks, we're offering a couple options, and then people will, the players, based on who kind of gets to it first, will pick which one we're doing, and then it'll get filled up with other people who are interested. So I was offering Worldwide Wrestling and Imp of the Perverse. And
because I was the first one up to the table, it was Imp of the Perverse.
It was Imp of the Perverse.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And then the next day, the first person at the table also was interested in playing Imp of the Perverse. So that happened twice. And then today, I did not want to do it again. Not mostly, but I burned through all my play sheets because I didn't expect to run it at all.
Yep.
And then, so I put the play test for Mortal Skein on, and then that was picked. Not by you, actually. I was like, oh no, Jim's going to pick my playtest.
No, I stepped up in it, and I saw that was the one that was available, and I was like, well, heck, all right, let's do this.
Yeah. And so there was no wrestling. This was a wrestling-free Origins.
Finally.
And
we got to play Swords, where you got to be my, it's not shill, what is it?
Your ringer.
Ringer. My ringer in the audience.
Ringer. Yes. Colonel Kirby Jackson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that was great.
Post-apocalyptic astronaut.
That was so great.
And my sidekick Bunker Boy. That was fun.
What's funny is that I ran 2 games of Swords here, and in both of them there's a character named Kirby. There was your astronaut is like the Buck Rogers model of and then the other one, same world, we're doing the Thundar the Barbarian inspired Far-Flung, and this Kirby came from a people who had uncovered a cache of comic books, and they thought that this record, a real account of it, and they
that's awesome.
Yeah, and so they were like their character was Batman themed because that was the comic they had with them or whatever.
Okay.
But they got their names from
sure.
So that was great. So tell me. Highlight of the show so far. Wait, is that one of our? That's not one of our questions.
That's not one of our
questions.
questions.
So I can actually ask that question. Yes.
Highlight of the show so far. Oh my gosh, highlight of the show so far. I haven't been back to Origins in many years, and at risk of sounding like I'm pandering, seeing you guys again.
Oh, that's great. Yes.
Seeing Vincent, seeing Tracy, seeing Evan, seeing a whole lot of people who I used to see on the regular. Not just because we used to live in the same town, but because we used to all go to these events a lot at the same time.
The con circuit.
The con circuit, yes, the con circuit. I mean, and, interrupted by the thing. In terms of people whose businesses were, interrupted by an event.
Significantly impacted.
If what you do is make all of your money by going around the country selling at conventions... Yeah, that was
a rough time.
Yeah.
It's been interesting. Like, it's slightly surprising to me how many people. I mean, it's just because of it's just our group and our demographic, right? But like, how many people are here for the first time this year specifically?
How old are your kids?
Right.
Right. No.
How old are your kids? How old are Evan's kids?
Right.
Yeah.
How old? Yeah.
No, that is a really good point.
It just, I think
that first, that couple of years is also a real determinant. I was talking to the professor of wrestling science, Dr. Atamo, Jason Cox, who's a great player and played a lot of early Worldwide Wrestling stuff that really set an imprint for me as like, oh, this is the kind of person that I want to play this game. His kid is about my kid's age, and this is the first year that he came back to Origins. You're putting the dots together for me.
And I mean, and not for nothing, in the time frame when we start planning these things, we're like, Origins 4 or 5 months from now, and we're all online, and like I'm on the symposium, I'm like, you guys thinking about going to Origins?
Right,
We're thinking about going to Origins and stuff. And the more people you're seeing are like, well, oh my God, Nathan's going to be there. I haven't seen him in years. Like Epi, I've probably seen you more recently than I have Nathan. But the fact that just kind of adds to the incentive, and so the more of us that might go, the more of us do go. I think in this case.
Yeah, that's a really good point too.
Now, one of the things, we're going to have you on the show in the near future to talk about...
Wearing my other hat?
The retail side of things, because I think that's the thing that the scholars are going to be very interested in. But what I want to talk to you about is No Hustle Gym.
No Hustle Gym, yes.
The year of No Hustle.
The year of No Hustle. So this is a thing that I've talked about with some of my other friends where for the entirety of my adult life, my relationship with gaming has been this kind of mix of it's a thing I love, but it's also how I make my living.
Right.
And so trying to figure out what was required of me, what was necessary, what I was doing because I wanted to do, what I was doing because I felt like I had to do. It's a whole complicated mix. Not that I'm sure I need to explain that to you guys.
Oh, no,
But with the closing of my business, we'll get into this more in the retail thing, but the brief version of it is, I no kidding made my full-time living from selling comic books and games for 25-ish years. Something like that. And then, bam. Like, it ended like that. And so, I had no idea what to do with that for a couple of years. And I would Jason would get me to work a booth for IPR, but that was like, am I going to get back into this or am I not? And the effort that would have, and kind of effort and expense and investment that would have required to get back into it would have been substantial. Like, I was retired for 3 years and I would have been, coming out of retirement
we have one last job for you, Jim. We have some games that need to be liked.
We have one last job and it'll only take 10 years. So that's, but all the kind of muscle memory and ways I react to things and in particular my understanding of my relationships with people who do this. There is a certain amount of are they really my friend? Or did they just want to get a good place on the table and that's why they're nice to me or whatever?
Like how mediated is this by the business relationship that we also have? By necessity.
And to some extent, it always kind of is. Like, it's not nobody's being... sorry, I shouldn't say nobody. You can be completely, I was going to say, mercenary. But that's not mercenary. But
generous
or whatever. And still, the relationship still exists. And there's no way around it.
It can be sincere.
Right.
That's the word. That's the word. And I think that's something that I always really... We'll get to it when we get to it. But it's something I always appreciated about how you ran your business, and that never felt like you were being disingenuous or weird. It was just like, you're right. Like, this will not sell if it's not in a bag or whatever, right? And it's you have that wisdom, and I just have to decide whether I can accept that or if I decide to change.
Yeah, so back to the year of No Hustle. So I was kind of stumbling along, trying to figure out talking about those mediated relationships. How much do I want to do this? I did a whole thing where I created a whole podcast channel, and I was, I had a whole branding, and I picked music and all this kind of stuff, and I was sitting there going, what do I talk about? What do I talk about? What do I talk about? And I realized I actually don't want to do this. I'm doing it because I have this perception that people expect me to engage with these air quotes are great radio, the industry, right? And stuff like that. But so I kind of talking about it with my wife, and she said, well, what would it be like if you just went to a show and just played games? And I was kind of like, what do you mean?
Well, that doesn't make sense.
I've been saying when you attend as a civilian.
Exactly. And I said, okay, let me see what that would feel like. And if I'm gonna see what it would feel like, I need to make it a practice, right?
Right, yeah.
Say consciously, okay, starting January 1st, my only engagement with gaming will be I'm playing games, anything I write or design, which I kind of dabble in. Certainly not to the extent you guys do, but, whatever. Like, like if you're running a game and you write your own scenarios, you're a game designer, right?
Exactly.
And so I do a lot of that. And I have an itch page with some things on it, some scenarios for different games and stuff like that. But I said, okay, I'm going to write. Nothing's going up anywhere.
Yeah.
Like if I do a thing, it'll be for fun because I want to do, my Apocalypse Keys game that I'm running. I want a Resident Evil flavored mystery, and I'm going to write that, and we're all going to have fun playing it. But the 6 of us are going to be the only ones that experience it until I decide, at the end of the year, if that's what I'm going to do. So here I am at Games on Demand, at the version of Games on Demand that I was one of the people that helped start. Me and Evan and Kira kind of got it going back in the day, and I'm just going to play. And it's been strange and tense, and like it was the first day was actually kind of hard. Like I was feeling like this is like it felt like something was wrong because I was here and not doing anything.
Did you feel like, I should be over there? I'm pointing over at like the table where all the hosting happens, and like I should be over there, or I should check in.
They're doing a great job.
Yeah,
they don't need my help.
Yes.
And like if I were to like impose it, that would not be. But I was like jittery and a little like anxiety just because of the sense memory of being in this place and all of that. But but the gaming and having people I knew to talk to and everything is kind of it kind of helped. But it's weird to like have this be the probably like honestly like 15th, 16th time I've been to Origins.
Yeah.
Because back when I was on the Gamma retail board, I did it every single year, and I helped do programming and all that kind of stuff. And I was mostly working with Gamma, but I'd drop in here as well. And it was like it's my 15th time, but it's my first time in a lot of ways, and it's been a little surreal. but it's going, it's working so far. So far, I have, I've stayed on the wagon.
That's great. That's wonderful.
I've not rushed over and changed a spreadsheet or printed out something that needed to get printed or gone over to talk to Gamma about something.
Yeah, when I went by the IPR booth and like Ken Hite was fuming because there was some indie game that didn't print the price on it. I didn't say that's $28. I did Ken that favor of letting him struggle. That was
that's how you learn.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, you are a titan of chill.
That raises a question for me. I came into the Games on Demand thing kind of like midstream. Like, I mean, you all were still organizing it, you and Evan and Kira, but it had already been established for some number of, like, we were already in this room. There was already kind of the basic structure. So coming back here, I'm like, that is basically the same from my perspective. A couple little details, maybe not. Has it, not just the play experience, but as someone who has been here for the entire lifetime of this event, have you noticed like the nature of the change over time, or?
I think that, like a lot of other things, it got obliterated by the pandemic.
It's another before time / now,
and it not through any lack of effort on anybody's part, or because anybody's not doing a good job with it. It's a third the size it used to be. Like we used to pack this room. People used to get like turned away, or like we would say, can anybody run a game and stuff like that, and like and the room was completely full, and like we came up with the boarding pass thing, the boarding pass system, because there was a line that was going out the door that like other rooms were complaining about.
I remember
because the line was blocking their door.
We got in trouble for the line one year.
Yeah,
I remember that being like a thing.
And so I think a combination of there's the interruption there, but also when we were doing it, there were people who would come in and say, "Oh my God, this is the only place like, I can find people that will play these games with me.
Yeah.
Like, my D&D group at home doesn't want nothing to do with no Fiasco or whatever, and so they would say, like, this and Gen Con, these are the only times I get to play story games because I don't have a local group that, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. But the other big thing about the pandemic, we all got online.
Yeah.
And so now there's all those communities. There's Plus One EXP, there's Open Hearth, there's, like Magpie has a whole game. Yeah. Like Magpie used to show up and like take 4 tables and run all their games and everything, but they do all that online now. They don't. They don't have to. And so I think that's one of the other big changes is that it's we are one of many places people can experience this stuff now.
Yeah. You could put a game of like a Apocalypse World or Fiasco or something. I mean, they're doing a big live Fiasco event at Orange, like on the stage.
Oh, well.
Today. They send out a newsletter, and I read it because I am a weird person that reads their email. And the thing today was like Fiasco Live on one of those stages, and I was like, oh, I had no idea.
Weirdo.
But I was going to say you could put Fiasco on like the event schedule and reasonably expect to have like a table of people to play like down at like in that big ballroom or that big whatever. And the big play chamber over there.
But not for nothing, there are a whole lot of people here at this show who are going to be like, do you have a game at 8 tonight? Well, I'm going to go back to my hotel room and play my regular weekly online game.
Right,
Sure,
that I don't want to skip just because I'm on vacation playing games. So,
yeah.
I was tempted to do that Wednesday night, but I just arrived. So So let's get to the questions, right?
Okay.
Like
Let's see if we remember them.
Okay.
So number 1, you're familiar with our arcane gems because you are a scholar.
Yep.
So the first question, is there an arcane gem from the overall experience of being a convention attendee, running games, hosting these kinds of events that you would like to surface for someone who's maybe not gone to conventions? I would like to have the best time that I can. So is there an arcane gem you can talk about the convention experience? Or is there someone that you've played with at a convention, or someone who's done something at a table you've been at that really had an impact on you or shaped how you play or how you run it?
The second one's a yes or no question. We don't want to know the actual thing.
Give me a minute to think about that.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and you don't have to answer both. Like, you shouldn't answer both.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. I don't know exactly where this falls. I'm going to do that thing that you said everybody does when they answer this question.
Match them together.
You don't have to answer both, but you're gonna.
Exactly. Maybe not a specific arcane gem, but a thing I have noticed, which is that the quality of the game or the game master notwithstanding, the more explicit and prompt whoever's running the game is about doing social introductions.
Oh, yeah.
And then getting right into the game. You did this when we just played the game we're not going to talk about.
I did this as an object lesson not to do, or I did this.
No. You did it right. You said, let's go around, and you had us write our real names on the little table tents and said, go around and say your names. And there are 2 kinds of games at conventions. And one is you sit down, everybody introduces themselves to each other, and you start playing. And the other is everyone sits down and they start the game. And like, if you're used to playing at home in a home group, that's how you play. You sit down and you start to play the game. But like job 1 is job one is you're not a game master, you're a host.
Yeah.
And that is that to me, more than anything, that's the make or break for a convention game. That's remember that your first job is that you are a host, and your second job is I'm going to run a good game.
And the more you remember the first one, the more likely it is that second one will happen.
100%.
Yeah.
So the reason I did that was because you reminded me to do it, because I haven't run a game at a convention in a while.
Oh, did I? Oh, okay.
Well, in the behavior, you modeled it.
Okay.
Because when we played Imp, I did like table tents or whatever. And we also, I think, had a little bit of like some people sat down, and then we had like one person, and then someone went to the bathroom and came back. So we had a little bit of finally everyone was there at the same time. When we were doing table tents, I started kind of talking, and you were like, "Oh, just real quick, can we just get everyone's name
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I had forgotten that I had done that on day one. Yes,
and it was the right thing to do because I was just kind of eliding it.
Mm-hmm.
And because you did it, I went, oh, right. This is something that I learned was the right thing to do at these kinds of games, and I'm rusty.
Yeah. Yep.
So what you're saying is, instead of answering the question, Jim got you to answer the question. Where Jim was the person.
Jim is the person who did the thing.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
Yes, you've successly judo flipped the question.
I will take that. That is like a grand PBTA tradition. Like,
Yes.
Like, oh, okay, 7 and 9. I'll ask a question of you instead. Then yes. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
I don't know how we just end these awkwardly. Like,
Yeah,
that's how we do
there's
it.
no sign off. We just kind of end it. But thank you, Jim.
Yeah,
thank
you're
you.
very welcome. Great to see you guys.
We are here again with the Unwritten Earth Symposium podcast, where we talk about games and stuff. You've heard the intro 7 to 12 times by now, unless we do this as the first one. So, we're outside. We're getting some local color here in beautiful Columbus, here on Pride Day, which has been pretty sweet. Anyway, I'm Nathan Paletta. I'm here with my good friend, Epidai Ravishal.
Hi, and I'm Epidai Ravishal, and I'm here with my new friends.
Hi, I'm Vinitio Valetti. I'm a designer and games educator based in Brooklyn, New York.
Hey, I'm Brian Flaherty, and I am 1/4 of Many-Sided Media. We make TTRPG podcasts and actual plays.
And I'm Elliot Davis. I'm also 1/4 of Many-Sided Media, as well as the publisher and designer known as More Blueberries. Make games, publish them.
Hi, I'm Nell. I am 1/2 of the design and publishing team Spilled Coffee Creatives.
Hi, I'm Allie Mark, and I'm the other half of Spilled Coffee Creatives.
And we really should be coming to the Many-Sided Media folk for advice here, because you clearly are the pros with the good mic and who know what they're doing. While we had a last minute, we have a mic we can bring to do some live on the scene. Well, not live, but thank you for providing this. Hopefully this all comes out okay. So we've been talking at the show with a lot of our old friends because we've been coming to this. Conventions in general, but Origins in particular. You did it in the
90s.
The 90s.
So, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. I did mostly in the aughts. My last show here was in 2018, and then there was a big gap, and then this is my triumphant return. So we've been catching up with a lot of our old friends that we were happy to see again, but we also want to try and make new friends, which is why we chased you down at your booth. They'd be like, hey, let's talk about your games, but also the boothing experience. So we also have both done the booth in the dealer hall at various places. I don't know if we ever we didn't booth at Gen Con or at Origins.
No.
But we booth at Gen Con and other smaller shows, whatever. And coming into the dealer hall here and seeing your shared booth and how you've set it up and what you're doing to sell your games was very refreshing and inspiring, because I really felt like, there's someone out here doing it right. And I guess I just wanted to turn the mic over to whoever would like to talk about why you're boothing at Origins in the first place and kind of what that is doing for you as game designers and getting your work out.
So I've been boothing at different conventions now for about 3 years, and met the Spilled Coffee folks, Nell and Allie, at LI Tabletop, which is a local con up in New York. And then one of my main booth experiences has been booth sharing with Hannah and Evan of Turtle Bun. Big Turtle Bun fans here in Columbus. So one of my big experiences has been booth sharing with Hannah and Evan of Turtle Bun, and they have a really brilliant, equitable booth sharing system that they set up. And then when I was talking to Nell and Allie about, they had gone to Origins as attendees, and we were like, what's the vibe? Does it seem cool? They were like, yeah, we're thinking about getting a first-time dealer booth. And I was like, maybe I'll do the same. And then first-time dealer booths ran out, and so it was like, this is going to be too expensive for either of us individually. Hey, I think I can do this same booth share that Turtle Bun did for me, for y'all. And so then it just made sense. Our catalogs have a lot of synergy to them. And it's been a great vibe. Really, really loving Origins. And the Indie TTRPGs here sign, which has pulled a lot of designers and Indie TTRPG fans, is a direct steal from Hannah and Evan at our shared booth last PAX, where they made a sign that said Indie TTRPGs here, and I was like, that's a great idea. I don't know if you want to add.
Yeah, we've also been tabling at conventions for a couple of years now, but this is by far our biggest convention, which was really nerve-wracking, gearing up to go into it. We're really grateful and really excited to be here, hanging out with some of the coolest game designers that we know. And my real advice for anyone in the industry is get really interested in other people's work. Talk to them about their work. You will meet the coolest people you have the ability to meet, and you might end up sharing a booth with them someday. So get interested.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I wanted to add to that. Yeah. It was seeing the sign, great, pulled us over, seeing the layout of the thing. Like, I mean, we were talking to Nathan about it, but, like, I was like, oh, yes. Like, there was an energy that, like, I had not felt in a while since the pandemic. Like, this is the theme of this podcast, I think. It's just, like, that hit a bunch of us really hard and kind of caused us to stumble a bit, and we were like, and also there were other reasons, like we're just been at it for a while, and yeah. But seeing your booth, I was like, this is what I want. Like, not to cast shade on any of the other, but like I wanted the indie games. I want the little weird ones, like no, you know.
Brackets complimentary.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
And like kind of to continue this small conversation of like I feel I feel like I sit in the middle ground between the newer guys and then the older guys of just I existed in TTRPGs right before the pandemic, so like I've been in here for a little bit. Like my first convention that I went to for like looking at indie RPGs and wanting to be like a designer and breaking into the space was like PAX East in 2018 like 2018, so like, and that was where I actually met, like I found Indie Bazaar and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And I talked to Hannah and Evan, and they were like the most actually, well, like I talked to another designer at another booth that was bespoke only theirs, and it was one of the worst experiences I ever had, and I felt like, oh, I can never make this in the industry. I've been essentially laughed away. And then I talked to Hannah and Evan, and I was like, holy shit, like, these are a bunch of indie designers, and they're all selling together, and they gave me the most, like, you know, like, inspirational, like, you can fucking do it, like, hell yeah. And they even said, like, you know, like, and if you get this published, I showed them, like, a draft of mine, like, you know, if you get this published, like, you can sell it here with us, like, that's what we do. And then when, like, Elliot started boothing with them, it was, like, just really beautiful. I was like, oh, my God, like, holy shit, it's so full circle. And then Elliot started doing that with Nell and Ellie, and just the indie spirit is so beautiful when it comes to conventions, and it's really nice to just, like, see that cycle continue. And I think that's, like, what makes cons accessible for us at our scale like, and, like, why our games are able to, you know, make it is because we love each other, and like that community is just ever present forever.
Everyone is nodding and smiling. Yeah, it's great radio. So we've been saying like, oh, your booth like has such good energy and there's such a breath of fresh air. And I think the connection there for me is that, right, as game designers and players, what we do is a social activity, right? We're getting at a table, we're spending time with each other, and we get to know each other better through this activity. And then coming to a convention is like, oh, you get to see all these people in the flesh that, like, you maybe only interact with online or never met, but, like, you vibe immediately, whatever. And representing that at a booth by, here's a big stack, not to throw shade, here's a big stack of books that's at the front, and I'm behind it, and there's a big barrier between me and you, and anyone trying to talk to me is now blocking anyone from seeing this stuff. That, like, doesn't fit that dynamic as well as what you all have done, which is, like, the interior corner. It's open on the outside. We're here to talk. We're here to give you information or just to chat or whatever. But we also don't need to be in your way if you're just passing through. We don't need to, like, give you the hard sell, like, if it's not what you're interested in. But, like, you can come in and stand on our comfy floor because pro tip, get the comfy, the comfy foam floor tiles. It's worth it, no matter what booth you're doing at any convention. And yeah, it's just like, and so you're able to actually spend social time with people in the sales context, and like it's just better.
Well, it's funny you mentioned like the connection between us as game designers and then being social and then the booth being social, because being friends with Vidi, this is a thing that has changed in my life, is like I see so many more things as games than I once did, maybe in things as playtesting, and I feel like every con I go to is like doing another playtest of the booth setup. And so like all of these things are like, oh, at this con, letting people walk inside a bit worked well, and like at this con, like comfy floor worked, and like at this con, these little handouts worked, and so you just build that until like you build your own sort of game system out of your booth.
Can I tell them about my favorite bit of thing that we did at PAX last year?
Is it
the giveaways or the
takeaways?
The takeaways, yeah.
And I want to credit you with this idea while you talk about it.
This is my favorite thing that we've done. So it was PAX last year. The most common thing you'll have at a booth is someone saying, they'll look at all your stuff and they'll say, hey, I'll be back. And half the time they're dirty, rotten liars. But you want to make that a good experience. So what we did was we made these little pieces of paper that said, if anyone actually says the words, I'll come back, we give them this piece of paper quietly saying, hey, you just said the magic words. And it says on the piece of paper, I said I'd come back and I did, and then we give them 10% off. And then on the back, it says, I said I'd come back and I didn't, but now you get free shipping with this discount code. And it was just a great little game where, like, every time, even if someone didn't come back, they left with a smile. It's like, oh, great. Now they had a good experience, even if they're not buying anything. We've had people come back this year and be like, oh, I remember this from PAX, or I remember this from last year. And it's like, that's plenty.
And I think I liked the playtesting analogy, but I think what's really cool and good to keep in mind is that as you get more games and you get different games, you're never going to stop playtesting. Like when you playtest a game, you playtest it and then you put the game out. But you're always going to be evolving what you do at your booth based on what you have. And so not beating yourself up over that and finding the fun and exploring what's working with your new stuff. Like I know this year we have 5 games and we've never had that many games before. And so it's been an adjustment of we can't pitch every very unique game as soon as you walk up. So like how do we talk to people and how do we figure that out and what should be present and how do we display them, and just giving yourself the grace to keep playing with that and keep having fun with that as you figure it out, I think is important.
I know I was talking with Rick from MythWorks, who's one of the great people over there, and I was having a conversation with him about what makes boothing good, like what makes it work, what was his philosophy. And the thing that he said that I really loved was that boothing is not about making sales at cons. Sales are great. That's what allows you to keep surviving. But the thing that really drives you forward is about just like making fun connections, being excited with people, and getting them excited about your game. Like having someone come over and say, hey, I love this game, or this is so cool, I've always been looking for this. I play this with my son, with my father, with my brother, with whoever. That's the thing that actually allows you to keep doing this, not just sustain yourself doing it. And that was such a great moment of clarity from him, I think.
Yeah, the sales are necessary but not sufficient, right? So you have to have your you can't ignore them. I mean, maybe you can if you're lucky, but most of us can't ignore the sales. You do need to make the sales, but yeah, just like you said, the connections and the stories and people coming back, especially when you're at a show over and over, if you've had that experience of someone coming back the next year to be like, oh, I was here last year, I got this game, it was great, what do you have this year, and then some of those people start to become like friends outside of the booth. That stuff is all really excellent. Something that I wanted to kind of say with the playtesting comments is that something we talk about on our show a lot is that we're always playtesting our business models, right? As designers, as game designers, we're also playtesting the way that we are putting the games out into the world, and if we accept that as part of our design practice, that is a powerful way to actually get better at like quote-unquote business, right? It's also a game. It also has procedures and incentives and all those, I guess I'm just saying that I'm just so happy to hear that this is all coming from all of your experiences and that you're all mindfully, in that zone, because like that is why I'm like, hey, yeah, these are the people to talk to, because you're, in my opinion, you're the ones doing it right, and I'm glad that you're learning, and hopefully you learned something here, and then we get to learn from you the next time we do a booth, because like the handout thing is amazing. It's the good version. Dumb story. It's the good version of back. So we had a booth at Gen Con. I'm pointing at Epi with my thumb. He's off mic, not worrying about what story I'm going to tell.
I know the story you're going to tell. I don't have to worry about it.
We had a booth at Gen Con for 3 years, which we call Design Matters, and it was a similar collection of like-minded designers who had outgrown a big shared booth situation
And we're like, that model isn't working for us. What's the model that works for us? And a lot of us had one year where we were working on a game, and we were like, it's going to be done by next Gen Con. So at the first Gen Con, we had little cards that were like, coming next year, Swords Without Master. I'm pointing at Epi. I think there was another one. Maybe Tim had a game that I don't remember, or Greg, or maybe one of Gregor's games we did that for. Anyway, we had little cards that were like coming next year, so come back to the booth and we'll have it. And then the next year came around and the game was not done and it was not out. Swords Without Master is coming soon. But we had some, I mean, they were friends. They were people who knew us. But we had friends who came back to us the year after with their card being like, where's my game that I can use my 10% coupon on? You promised it to me 2 years ago. Why don't you have it yet? So that's the bad version of that idea. And now we've heard the good version of that idea. So thank you for that. I'm going to give this to defend yourself, Epi.
Oh, no, I'm not defending. No, there's nothing to defend here. Like, I was just saying, Jonathan Walton wanted to turn in. He still has his coupon. Wanted to turn it in earlier this week.
Oh my god!
So I'm just saying, yeah. I mean, like, it was a that happened. Yes, you have a much better version.
I will say, there's something really funny. Also, the parallels is that today I got to talk to like she seemed like a recent grad, but like is like somebody who's working in video games and is like, you know, I'm here on like an internship and I'm like doing all this stuff, and it was really cute and it was really fun to talk to. And she's like, how much is this game? And I forgot exactly what it was, but I was like, oh, it's like 30. And she's like, I don't know, you know, like maybe I'll come back in like 10 years when I can afford all of these games. And I still go, well, hey, you said the magic words. If you hold on to this, I mean, you said you'd come back. And she laughed like a lot of it. It was like a really fun little experience to be like, no, yeah, I mean, that's the promise of the coupon.
It's also really fun to give those coupons to other booth vendors because they see it and they go, shit.
We did have one fun experience today. I just hit a button, Brian.
You're fine.
Okay, great. Where a group was there, and I'd picked up a little marker, a little rainbow paint thing from the Pride Parade this morning, and I had gone around to all these girls who'd come to our... I was coloring in all of their tattoos for them. They got the 10% discount card, they left, they came back hours later, they'd lost their card, they couldn't find it, but they go, hey, look, I have the rainbow tattoos to prove that I was here before. Fun little twist on the genre.
Should we go to the question?
Yes.
All right, it's gonna fall to me. All right, the questions were: if you have an arcane gem of the game design of the con experience itself, if you have one of those to share, or if you have a memory or an experience where somebody in a game you played at a con had done something that impressed you or changed how you play games. Does anyone have a good answer to this?
It's not from this con necessarily, but like an arcane gem of boothing that was taught to me by Tony Vacinda of Plus One EXP. And this is one that like you'll hear it and you'll feel a little weird about maybe the like capitalist sales manipulation of it, but not having a price sign means you do better sales. If people can't see the price before they fall in love with it, they are more likely to buy. It's like, and like I remember walking up to Tony's booth 2 or 3 cons ago and I said, you don't have a price sign. And he was like, well, we have like 50 SKUs. And he was like, but also, I want them to hold the game, fall in love with it, imagine owning it before they ask me, hey, how much is this? So that's like a thing that since then I have done that, and I've noticed it's a lot like easier to make sales.
My like dumb weird one that's like a extension of that is I will always hand someone the game and then just keep talking to them and have them keep holding on to the game for as long as possible. Because then there's just a higher and higher likelihood that they're like, oh, this has always been mine. I might as well just give this person money for it now.
Always talk to your booth neighbors. Make friends with the people who are next to you. Make friends with the people who are doing similar stuff to what you're doing. Send people to their booths. If someone comes up to you is talking about puzzles, you know there's a table 2 rows down that sells puzzles. Send people over there. Pay it forward. Watch your booth neighbors' food when they go to the restroom. Really taking care of the other people in the community is, for me, the best part of the convention.
If you know other game designers, get to know them. If you don't, they're all great. But people are always looking for help at their booths. And so if you can go and booth for somebody else before you booth for yourself, that's where I learned most everything. We have a friend at Post Curious Games, which it's puzzle games, so it's slightly different than what we do, but it's the same idea. And I learned so much about how to talk to people, how to engage with them, how to make like snappier pitch lines just from being there. And then it's less scary when you first show up and are like, oh, now it's like my product and there's a lot more weight on it.
Kind of in the same vein of like knowing your neighbors is like knowing like where you're at in your on the con floor. I think is like been very fun for me. Is like, okay, like where are we, and like what have you just, like you're walking up to us and like what have you just talked to, what have you just been seeing? And then especially because we have like a wide catalog of games, it's nice to also like maybe even see like, oh, I saw they have this bag, I know like where they have been, what they have probably bought already, and I can go, hey, and then maybe make a gamble on it, but like it's like, do you want something similar? Like, I know you're over here. Like, Land Wants Magic is like a world-building game, and like you've just bought a bunch of adventure games. Do you want a world builder for like the adventure games you just bought, or like board game? Like, you know, it's board gaming people, so like you can like point them to the Time We Have, which is like closer to a board game in terms of like it's a boxed card game, so like we can kind of get them to that, and like. Yeah, like kind of knowing your surroundings, I think, is a fun game of like, where do I send the pitch? Like, how do I talk about my games? Like, what's next to me? You know, we're next to like a big art, like we're literally, our booth neighbor is like a big art and plush place. And so if I see somebody with like one of those plushes, I'm like, okay, I kind of know what you're into because it's such a very specific vibe. And we can send them and like talk about fantasy creatures and talk about like forests and cozy things, and like either send them to our cozy games or send them to our, you know, like funky weird creature things. And so yeah, there's something about the context I think is very gamey of boothing.
From this isn't even like a specific piece of advice, I guess, but one of my favorite people at any convention is Matt Sanders from Rowan Rook and Deckard, whose job, as far as I can tell, is just to be everyone's favorite person. He's just a really nice guy, very knowledgeable about games, and just makes friends with absolutely everyone. And I feel like the longer that we do this, the more cons we go to, the more friends we make in other booths. It's just more fun to come to cons, to like just visit with friends. But also, it means that more people know about your games. More people can say, as you were saying, like, oh, you may not like our games, but I know this game over at MythWorks you're going to love. Let me tell you about Wildsea or Pico. Oh, here's Rowan Rook and Deckard. Let me tell you about Eat the Reich. Let me tell you about Dread. The more you get involved with the community, like networking isn't this like weird thing. It's just being nice and making friends with people. And the more you can do that, the more fun you'll have, the better your community will be, and the more sustainable this will be. But also, the better your bottom line will be, because more people will be rooting for you to succeed.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a fun parallel between the difference in seeing networking as a business thing versus making friends, and also the difference in seeing people who come to your booth as just the money in their pocket versus a person to engage with. It's like the more you like just get excited, like what Rick was saying about like it's about showing people what you're excited about, but also just getting excited about people and like being like, I'm also at this convention because I'm a nerd. Let's talk about the nerdy thing you're into. Let's talk about what you've bought. Let's get excited together. Also, the outfits at GameCons go crazy.
Yell from across the aisle. Just be like, "Oh my god, I love your dress!" And then they will like. If not, if they come over, that's great. But if not, like they just have a smile, and then the people around them know that you're nice and inviting. It's nice. It's a fun time.
It's just great to talk to people.
It's just great to talk to people. But I wanted to go a little bit more about like being excited about pitching games. Like a thing that I've learned, especially boothing with Brian, who's one hell of a pitcher, is like Brian's really good at giving like the quick pitch, and is really good at like that quick, like I know what game this is, I can pitch it to you, I have like the snappy thing. But like when I pitch my own game, Land Wants Magic, I feel like I'm just talking forever because I love my game. Like I'm able to talk about it with love, and I'm like, let me get you excited. And then at one time I even like asked, I think I asked Nell and Allie, where I was like, man, I feel like I'm really bad at this. Like I feel like I'm just talking to these people forever. And they were like, no, like as an observer, like they are really invested in what you're saying, and like they like, and I'm not faking it. Like it's hard to like fake it. It's like, and they know I'm not faking it, and I'm just like loving the game in front of them, and then they're loving me loving the game in front of them. And then on the other side of that is like love the other games at your table, like talk about the other games like they are yours, or like they are your favorite game that you've ever played. It's like, oh yeah, this is my game, sure, whatever. But have you played Companions? Like, Companions was the best experience I ever had. And it feels really good because you can brag about other people's games better than you can brag about your own.
There is also a thing to remember for anyone who hasn't boothed before. Anyone who has will know this. There will be people that you pitch to, and they are giving you the blankest of all fucking...
Unbelievable.
Just, they're giving you nothing. And you're talking to them, and the whole time you're thinking, this is a waste of time, I should just stop talking, focus on someone else. Don't. Ignore that instinct. I get it, it is uncomfortable, but keep talking to that person, because like 9 times out of 10, that's the person who you pitch everything, they go, great, I'll take it all.
We have a story about that. Maybe we'll go to that in a second. I just wanted to kind of add to all of that a lot of it is just being sincere with people, right? And it's like sometimes the sincerity is like, I'm excited, so I'm going to tell you about the thing I'm excited about. And sometimes the sincerity is like, I can see that you're tired and you just want to read the back of this. So like, I'm here to answer a question or tell you about it, but like, you know, just let me know when you want to talk. And, like, those are both really sincere interactions. And I think you can really tell when you get to a booth and someone's like, come on in and demo this game. I know you want to, you know, like Barker stuff. And it's like, so they're just throwing darts at the dartboard, right, to get, you know, try and get something. And it's like, no, thank you. Yeah, a lot of these examples, I think, that's at least what I've tried to take from other people doing what I'm like, oh, right, I should be like that person. I'm like, because they are being sincere. And like, that's where that connection really comes from. I think we'll wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for your time and your technical expertise to probably make this sound better than it would have otherwise. We'll just go around so that you can shout out to where people can find you and find your stuff before we turn it off. So, all right.
Thanks for having me. I'm Viditio Valetti. You can find me online everywhere at Viditio Valetti and find my games at viditiovaletti.itch.io, as well as A Land Once Magic at moreblueberries.shop.
I'm Brian Flaherty. I host the podcast Talk at the Table with Elliot, and also the podcast My First Dungeon. If you want to learn about some cool games and listen to some cool actual play, check us out.
Hi, I am Elliot. You can find me everywhere online that matters at More Blueberries, moreblueberries.shop for my games, and on the podcast Talk the Table in My First Dungeon with Brian.
Hi, I am Nell. You can find us on every social media site and itch.io at Spilled Coffee Creatives.
And I'm Allie, and Nell did the hard work for me.
All right, thanks again, everyone. Welcome again, possibly for the first time, possibly for the last time, because I don't know how this edit is going to go, to the Unwritten Earth Symposium podcast, live from Origins, live to tape, I suppose, where we're talking to friends old and new about the show and how it's going and these experiences. I am, of course, Nathan Paletta, and I'm here with my good friend, Epediah Ravachol.
And I'm Epediah Ravachol. I'm here with my new friend, Gene Koo. Hello. So, I know you from Bonsai Diary.
Long time.
Well, I saw the game yesterday. Wow, it feels like 1,000 years ago now. It was beautiful. It looked beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I've not done journaling games yet. And it's definitely an area that I see a lot of people. We have friends that have been making them, and people that have been playing them, and people are seeing people like asking for them and whatnot. And so I'm like, I want to know what this is. And so, what is this?
Yeah, so journaling games are like a role-playing game where the book or the game serves as the game master.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're making up your story, and in response to prompts and pushes from the usually book, that's leading you on with telling your story.
Now, with Bonsai Diary specifically, you end up drawing in it while you're doing it. Like, is that sort of like working with the book, and is that typical for journaling games, or like are they typically the journal you write in?
It can be. I think a lot of journaling games, to keep the price down, have a real ton of content in them, and then you journal in something else. Right. And the secret is sometimes you don't even journal somewhere else; just keep it all in your head. And you know that whole conversation about is reading, play, and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to, one, because it's drawing, you needed that in the book, and then two, I also really wanted to keep the book as accessible as possible, which means you don't have to have other things other than a pen. So everything is in that book.
It's kind of on a midpoint, at least for me. I'm entering this world late. I feel like all of our peers have been like more on top of solo and journaling game movement trend bracket positive. Like a thing that is happening. But Bonsai Diary seems to sit for me kind of on a continuum that goes all the way to Spy. Right, it's this game that part of play is destroying it in various ways, or like the book itself becomes an art. So your book also becomes an artifact of the experience.
Absolutely.
In a way that a journaling game that is full of prompts that then you might journal separately or keep in your head, that has a different replayability. Like, that's the trade-off, right? Or at least that's what I'm starting to think about. Like, is that a trade-off of having the book become the artifact, and then can you play it again? Can you play with that?
It is a bit of a trade-off. I do have at the back of the book a series of rules that you can use a deck of cards to continue play, or even just start fresh with a new tree. But the truth is that there is a kind of a closed-ended story and an experience from playing the game that most of the time when you're done with the game, you've had that experience. And for a lot of people, it's very deep and cathartic. And I'm not sure you can get that. It's like reading one of those books for the first time, a second time. Like, it doesn't have it.
Having I had that insight. I can't wait to have that exact same insight again.
Exactly. And so I think there's room, I hope, for these deeper experience. The experiences that can be deeper because you're only going through it once, but that one time is worth it. I hope.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I'm kind of fascinated about this is because I very much enjoy used books, and particularly I love used books where people have done stuff in the margins, right? Like, I don't know if we're there yet, but like it'd be lovely if at some point these games start surfacing.
Like I'm getting rid of my finished journaling games that I'm not going to revisit, and then they pop up at a used bookstore or something, and you can still do the core experience, but you're looking at all those notes that someone has already made when they played through.
Yeah, I mean, not to go off track here, but I don't know if you've seen the bookmark games from Good Luck Press that you play with a book and you can often just destroy the book as part of the process. And so I've gone into those little libraries and grabbed books that I can tell nobody ever wants. And I've done events where I've had people do journaling games together, and then they just grab whatever the book they want and then start writing in the margins and circling things and drawing monsters inside all that. But someone's going to eventually come up with those with a game that you hide in the library, and the book goes on doing things inside the library, right?
There was a thing I think this was happening a lot with like romances and cozy mysteries, where older library patrons would get them out, read them, and then they'll be like, on page 15, I draw a little flower, so I know that that's the one that I read. Because sometimes you read so many of them, you forget. So you pick it up off the shelf again, you flip through it, and my library has started to put a little grid in the front for people to like you pick the spot
like initial it or something,
or like draw your little sigil or something.
I love that,
right? Like, and I think there's stuff to be had there. Yeah, because like sometimes we have like a very sacred reverence towards books that isn't as people who have made books. We're like
book sickos, as we sometimes say. Yeah,
it's okay if you destroy that. That's fine.
Especially game books, right? They should stand up to active use, right? And active use sometimes means they get messed up, and like I think that's just it's hard for me to be mad if like, oh no, this page has a stain on it. It's like, oh, that means that we were actually playing and it was open.
Yeah.
Like I actually played it, so that's actually like a sign.
Yeah.
So you're here at Origins boothing. representing not just your game, but also some other journaling games.
Yep.
I am curious about what your experience has been with, like, okay, these games are aimed at these kind of solo contemplative experiences. Yep. Now I have to try and either explain them or match them to someone who might be interested in the least solo environment, the least contemplative environment I can imagine. How has that been going?
I will say I'm surprised by the number of people who just lock eyes and immediately know what I'm talking about. They see the booth and they're like, okay, I want solo. Actually, I'd never say solo.
Yeah,
right.
Because
I said that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. But because one, it's extra syllables, but two, it's you can definitely play them in groups, and I have put together experiences like that. But there have been quite a few people who've come up and they've done it before, but it's like any time you're boothing at any convention, like there are just some people who they're on like lock and seek and destroy, and they're gonna find the thing that they want, and they're gonna go grab it, and then there are other folks who are just kind of browsing and they're open to new experiences. And I guess just from 3 days of doing this, I can kind of tell on someone's face whether they were exploring or whether they were not. So and I kind of introduce it the same way as I did before. Like it's a if you've done an RPG before, it's like that, but the book is your game master. And if you haven't, then it's like, have you done creative writing before, or are you into journaling? And the answer is usually yes to at least one of those. In terms of people who are here, and so there could be a hook there. And then it's a matter of, for some folks, I like to think like it's like the forever GM who would actually like to play for once, and they have this surfeit of imagination. For people who are journaling or creative writing, there's nothing worse than that blank page. And so having something that assists you through that process is something that can be really wonderful for those folks.
Have you boothed at Origins before?
First time here. I mean, first time boothing here, not first time here. Yeah.
But you have boothed at other conventions?
I've done smaller conventions, like just regional, local things. I've put on my own kind of fairs, and but much smaller type events.
Long time no see.
Hey, good to see you.
How'd the show go?
Good. We're actually recording a podcast here. Yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Thanks.
Keeping it all in.
Yeah. So there we are. We are live at a convention.
Live at a convention. Yeah. So I guess this is my first time meeting you at this convention.
Same.
So like the smaller regional convention stuff. Do you have a short summary of kind of like your history with game design, with the kind of products you tend to booth with, or the scene that you're kind of part of?
So I'm relatively new to tabletop game design. I kind of started out doing always being a wannabe in the digital game side, and then for some reason just paper and cardboard just I cannot create with digital for some reason, whereas I found I could do it here. And I'm also a lifelong attempt like kind of fiction wannabe, and I found that the only way I could write was to switch to the second person. So whereas I could not write in the first person, I could not write in the third person, I could only write you to get you to do that. So it opened up a whole new world for me, just like right during pandemic or so. And so actually the weird thing is that the Bonsai Diary is the first game I put out into the world. So it's like this amazing just first shot that kind of managed to hit. It was one of those games that just came to me over a weekend in response to a tweet of all things. Somebody just said something about how we need to have games that have an intergenerational legacy. And then I immediately thought of Bonsai, and then I immediately thought of tracing as the key mechanic. Made it in a weekend, then spent 2 years playtesting it, but it all came to me that fast.
And that's how it works. Is like, so I did the fun thing, and then I had to make it good.
Then you ground,
and that's the grind.
No, I mean a lot of other games I've been trying to do is more grind even from the beginning. But what I've been able to do since then, besides doing my own design work, is I've helped to organize a artist collective in the DC, Maryland, Virginia region, the DMV. And we've come together as a group of mostly TTRPG, but just generally tabletop designers. And we work with our local retailers to really promote the idea that your neighbors are game designers. So you know how you can go to the jewelry store and they'll be like locally crafted. And so we've been working with our retailers to do signage that's like, hey, these are your locally made games. So we've started doing events and activities, and we've been starting to put on our own even game fairs. That's where a lot of us have been boothing, because in the local game stores, we are actually on par with Hasbro. Because we will show up more than they do. So suddenly we're like, hey, we're actually the more popular game.
And we're part of your community, and you can talk to us, and we can respond to your feedback, both like as like designers, like I can respond to your feedback, but also you get to see who's coming back every time and is like interested in what you're doing. And I can only imagine that there's some crossover where some of those people who see your games hopefully end up starting to make games.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, and one of the most exciting things there is how game design is becoming its own hobby.
Yeah.
So that's a really other kind of thing that's happening.
Yeah. Probably because I follow you, I feel like I see that collective. You're doing playtest events. You're doing the fairs, the like kind of more sales oriented events. And it seems like it's a community that has a lot of mentorship happening.
Yes, and so we have this Discord. People are constantly coming in, and they have these ideas, and some of them run with it, and some of them don't. But we're all kind of mentoring each other. And you know this. There's all these overlapping communities.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing in knowledge from other communities I'm in to this group, and then vice versa. So it's the better internet, right?
Yeah.
Instead of parasocial relationships, we're with real social relationships.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I love the crossover thing is important because like if you got a community that's about gaming, and that's all we're like. Yeah, you need the input from other areas, like, other interests.
The art is improved by exposure to other art. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just
So
watch
much.
movies all the time to make movies.
Yeah.
Like, we've all heard this a million times, but maybe this is the first time that you've heard it, dear listener. You got to go have, like, other experiences to bring into your art, or else your art just becomes the same as everyone else's art, right?
Yeah.
We are not part of that geographical area, right? So it's just very cool to see that, like, oh, this scene is happening, and you have these dedicated people both to structurally make it happen, do the logistics, organize the things, and then you have the desire from the local community that is something that is useful and rewarding for people to engage with.
Yeah, I mean, we just happen to also be super lucky in the DC area to have so much there to support game designers, right? Because we have Unpub happens to be more or less headquartered there, and Break My Game has a lot of there, and those tend to be more board game focused. And that's kind of how I got started, was really connecting more with the board game side, and then bringing that over to the TTRPG side.
It's funny how these things are, it's kind of accidents of history kind of stuff where it's like, okay, so it so happens there's all these dynamics that are making this happen. Similar to like the Western Mass kind of collective for like our early career with like Vincent and Meg, but also you and Evan being out there.
It's the chemicals they were putting in the water.
Emily, right? Like you get all these great games out of a small area. It's kind of like, what are they putting in the water? And you have to kind of take advantage of it while you have it.
I mean, like it's like you were talking about. Like I think a lot of that is just a friend does it, and then you're like, oh, that's something I could do.
Absolutely.
And then some people like really glom onto it and really start, some people, just do a few things. I have a group of friends that I play a regular game with, some of which are game designers, some of which aren't. But I think almost every single one of them is designed a game to play in that group. And wouldn't even consider themselves like game designers. And it's just like, no, but that's just what we do, right? Like it's not game design. We're just doing the thing we do,
And we're starting to have a little bit of that in Playtest Tuesday, where we're trying to keep it as open as possible in terms of bring whatever. And sometimes people are bringing like, here's the game that I'm working on that I need feedback on. And sometimes people are like, here's this dice idea I had. And the last time we had one, we literally did some workshopping of a move for a Monster Hearts game because there was a situation happening in this game that was coming up a couple times, and the person running it, who's also a member of our community, was like, I'd like to just have a little more like something like a little more mechanical, something to support the fact that we're kind of into this happening. So I'll brainstorm with game designers. I mean, he's also a game designer, but let's brainstorm about like what can we do in this particular game for my group, to support that. It's really, it feels really healthy to have that range and support people wherever they are in their process and their desire and their goal.
Just to squeeze all the fun out of that, it's like it's having a community of practice.
Exactly.
Who are all exactly. Sorry to use the business jargony word.
No, it's good.
I went to art school. I get it. Have you had a chance to play anything, or are you kind of
very low? I mean, I've managed to play Flip 7 at night. That's about all the mental energy I have left for. I'm hoping to go hit Unpub tonight and maybe see some things that are going on over there.
Cool.
I call it like actually experiencing the games before with the fingerprint of the artist still on it before the publisher's done and filed it all off. So
that's a really great way to do it. Unsurprisingly,
no offense to the publishers.
Right. None taken on behalf of the publishers. I was going to say, unsurprisingly, that was a very beautiful and poetic description of exactly what that is. And I think I was saying Bonsai Diary, which I did like back the Kickstarter for. Don't even remember how I saw
Thank
it.
you.
I was saying, did it happen during Zine Quest? Was that?
No, I totally missed Zine Quest.
Okay.
It happened just about a year ago.
Okay.
In fact, it's a year ago.
Okay, so it was, so I have no idea. Just good fortune. But the poetic nature of it as both as a book, but also just kind of the project was what really appealed to me. And so it's just it's just beautiful to have that kind of work in the world.
Super appreciate it.
So good work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was going to say also, I think an experience a lot of us have had is that if we are at the booth, we can't play role-playing games at the convention because it's too much energy. It's like we can do board games and that's it.
Yeah.
But then, like, if we're not at the booth, we're like, all right, we're at Games on Demand. We're doing, it's like I can't handle both sets of slightly overlapping, just kind of like being on my physical feet, but being kind of on your mental feet.
Yeah.
The whole con.
It's a social, different social interaction.
Tell me. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going
to
act like I'm suddenly the host now. But tell me what is the difference you think between the energy you expend for a board game versus a
I know. Yeah.
So as soon as you said that, I'm like, okay, I want to hear more about that.
This is exactly that. Yeah. I think so. For me, the kinds of RPGs that I like to play and that I like to run or host tend to have a lot of improvisational storytelling. I love rules, but like the rules don't mean anything if the narrative that we're generating isn't going anywhere or doesn't create the context that makes the rules mean something. So when I'm running a game, I'm doing rule stuff, but I'm also doing a lot of social stuff because I'm trying to like keep energy up, try and make sure everyone is getting a chance to get their stuff in, trim something off before it goes so far out that it's not going to be part of the narrative anymore, and then we have this weird vestigial storyline and a character that can't interact with everyone else. So be like, head that off and get it back on track, especially for convention games, right? Where it's like a one-shot kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for a board game, there are obviously more narrative board games, but at the end of the day, I can kind of be like, all right, what's the rule I need to engage with?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can do the rule stuff, and then I can enjoy the experience that produces, and also like move material components around, and shuffle cards and do all that stuff. And the mental lift is like just in a different part of my brain. But then being at a booth, sorry to like bring it all the way around to kind of what I was also talking about. Being at a booth uses a lot of those same social muscles where it's like, all right, let me read your... We might have talked about this on another interview, so, whatever. But reading someone as they're coming up, trying to be like, do you have the stare or do you have the wander? Explaining it in a certain way. Oh, you're the person you're the person who would appreciate the deep dive. Oh, you're the person who wants me to like shut up and just let you read the back of the book. And like those are all similar to my like GMing / hosting muscles.
I think that's spot on for that.
Yeah. Well, I was. Because there's this experience that I've noticed with board games in particular, depending on the board game. Like there are, like you said, there's more narrative or social board games that I know that like if I have a certain low energy level, it's weird, but I would rather play like a really chunky non-social board game than. But also, I was wondering about this feels somehow related to this phenomena I experience with when a board game when they make like a online version of the board game, and sometimes that like makes the board game easier for me to play with my friends, and sometimes it just utterly strips it of all the joy. And I think part of that is like the moving of the pieces and stuff. There's something meditative about the interacting with the board game that like that when I'm tired, my brain is really cool with. In a way that it probably maybe shouldn't be, like maybe it should just go to bed, but like it's okay with like, moving pieces around. And when you do an online version, sometimes they're like, don't worry, we'll take care of that for you. And then I'm like, well, what am I doing here? What's my...
Click.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm working out some kind of essay or thesis on board games as ultimate rationalization of play, right? Like it's basically a bureaucracy. You're playing a bureaucrat, moving numbers around, right? And but what's interesting is I haven't really quite thought about what you just said about how you can go into this flow state.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to make a distinction between what the rational and the irrational, and so much of the narrative is kind of stuff that you can't boil down to a formula and be like, and totally mechanized. There's still this other leftover element to it.
Yeah, there's the elements of like juxtaposition, absurdity, and stuff that like totally work in role-playing games because it like bounces off something else that's going on, and you suddenly see this new connection. And then, like, at the board game thing, I'm like, if those elements come in, now I'm distracted from the thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right? And that more rationalized procedure stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be very calming, even if the game itself has a lot of rules. Like, this has nothing to do with, like, the density of the rules, I think.
Yeah, right? I'm now working through that in my head because one of the things I did with the Bonsai Diary was to try to get you to the nonverbal side of your brain by getting you to do that drawing. And then once you're in that mode, then you can actually go over to the journaling and open up a part of yourself that maybe wasn't open before, but the drawing is opened up. And I'm like, there's nothing in common between the drawing and like a highly mechanical euro. Or something like that. And yet, what I'm hearing here is that there's a similar kind of like flow state that you get into. So my brain is tickled about what's going on there.
I mean, we could be wrong.
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I don't know.
To be fair, when I do the accounting for the company, I get into a nice meditative flow state.
You do love to make numbers match.
Yeah,
that
I'm
is
like,
one of your favorite things.
Oh, this is just lining up.
Maybe you're just a weirdo.
That's very possible. Very possible.
The other thing I was going to say, though, is that at a role-playing game table, dead air can be very stressful, while when you're playing a board game, dead air generally is fine because it just means everyone's thinking.
Yeah, I go out of my way to model dead air at conventions.
To make it more okay.
Because like
let stuff breathe.
I'll start playing the game and like I'll be like, okay, I'm starting the first phase or whatever, and I'm like, this is good radio.
Great radio.
Yeah. But like I'll just like, even if I know exactly what I'm about to say, I stop and wait so that everyone's like, hopefully gets comfortable with it, because I'm the authority in that situation, because I want people to think about what they're about to say next,
I'm not saying it's good, but
But no, I agree.
I feel like there's a general social. I mean, obviously, you're chattering, you're playing with your friends, you're talking, but I think there's also a general social acceptance of like, all right, now we're all just like thinking about our next turn. That is like can be very relaxing.
Yeah.
So as we were chatting about yesterday, one of the things I'm working on is also what everybody's always working on, which is like the gateway RPG. So we've been exploring the overlap between what is a tabletop game that is not in that vein, which is the overlap of party games and role-playing games, because in party games you're not supposed to be quiet.
Right.
You're up on your feet, or not literally or figuratively, and you're like all energized. And I don't know what's in that space right now. Because can you lower that cognitive load or that pressure to do all that improv to a level where it's closer to, like, as we were discussing, like Cards Against Humanity, where you're like, oh, this card matches that card. Fun. Can you bring it to that level? And so far we're really trying to explore, like, is that possible? And also, is there a market for that, or is that some dead space?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that it is a thing about thinking about those as gateway games, right, as opposed to just like another sphere of games. What is a game that would be that do that when you're done playing it makes you go, oh, if I want more of this, I need to go play Dread. Right, or whatever. How does the gate, how does that gate open in a way that makes the game still fun to play by itself, but also leads to these other
We don't need to send more people to Dread. That's fine.
We're going to send Dread the other direction.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, like, I actually wonder about even the term gateway, because I think that's very...
That's the thing. Is that a misnomer for this kind of game, or is that
I wonder if it's a misnomer even in the board game space, because it's a very we're doing it the right way centric way of thinking of can we bring them in? But like, actually, most people actually like to be in that area and they'll stay there, and it's like, actually, you're the weirdos out in whereas Gateway is actually the lingering place for a lot of folks.
Yeah, because you start seeing like trails of breadcrumbs to like lead people to like, okay, but now you're like, you are specifically taken to some,
it could just be this whole other thing. Like, Gateway Games is the game. Like, maybe there's another form of story game that is accessible to a different audience than we're reaching right now, with things that are more, Dread isn't polyhedral, but a lot of when people think role playing, for whatever reason, they end up thinking polyhedrals.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that thing where a lot of times people who've not played role-playing games think, oh, you're acting, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not an actor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need you to understand that when I play a role-playing game, I'm talking to you like I'm sitting at a writer's table
I don't
making
put on a
something
voice.
up. Yeah,
I don't.
Almost always I'm like, I think my character does this, is that? And like, that's not acting. This the furthest from it. Like,
But yet it's unfortunately in the name right there, right?
Yeah.
So what are you going to do about that?
Yeah. And it's fine if people do act on, like, I have friends who, like, will do a voice or really will get into a character, and I'm like, I'm all for it.
People who can just kind of, like, off the dome do, like, dialogue.
Yeah.
That's the skill that I'm like, oh, man, I wish I had that.
That's a special trait.
It's great that you can do it. Don't do it at me, though, because you're not getting it back.
You can do it at me, and then my response will be like, yeah, I think I say I agree, but in a way that makes sense with how you said your thing.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I play that.
But that's interesting. Like I don't know that actors actually do just or even improv. Like they're kind of they do work things through and just to bring it back to journaling games for a minute. Like it's one thing I want to convey is like because I've taught writing all my life, and it's like you don't write beautifully. Right. You write garbage that you just keep. It's the
exactly.
But if you're journaling, if you're doing a journaling game, who's looking over your shoulder to grade you? Right. So then, can you just dump your feelings onto the page and not worry about somebody reading it? Right.
Do you ever encounter like a hesitancy there, where it's like, oh, my writing isn't going to be good enough?
Every time. Like the number of times people said to me, my drawing's terrible.
Yeah.
My first other game that I did was a drawing game. And every single adult, and it made me very sad. It felt like they needed to say off the bat, I can't draw.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course you can draw.
Yeah.
Like, well, obviously with some disability exceptions, but most people can draw.
Most of the time, when people say I can't draw, what they mean is I'm a little ashamed of what it looks like when
Which
I
is
draw.
what makes me so sad.
Yeah.
Like, where did you learn to be ashamed of your drawing? Where did you learn to be ashamed of your writing?
Yeah.
And so I don't know that a journaling game or anything is going to quote unquote solve that.
Yeah.
But I recently made a coloring book game. My co-designer hates coloring because I forget which grade teacher, it was like second grade teacher, like made fun of him for coloring outside the lines. Which is like, first of all, what the heck? And for both counts. But like, so we made a game that like could be played by people who hate coloring, right? And we've actually play tested with people who hate coloring and they enjoy the game. So I don't know if journaling games can do that for writing or whether it's something else, but it is a real shame that people feel, well, that's a funny way to put it. It is too bad that people feel ashamed about these things.
Yeah.
And in a world where, sorry to pull this cord, but like where AI is coming for our creativity, like that's the last thing we want. We want people to embrace their humanity in a flawed way of like your experience of the world, you're going to express it in a flawed way, and that's beautiful. That is what it is to be human.
That's like, the point of it is not to get a grade. And there's so much in our society, but like there's so much just like, oh, what's my score gonna be, like just in our heads. And I think there's something kind of revelatory about trying to for me being like, okay, this point here isn't necessarily like I'm gonna play this game and I'm not that I don't particularly care like, oh, my writing won't be good, but more like is the story I tell gonna kind of match up with what this game expects of me or something. And I'm like, this revelation here in this moment is like, that's not really the point. The point here is like, oh, just do it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And like, no one's.
Maybe.
I'm not failing. What?
Maybe play.
Maybe play.
Play.
Maybe I've learned that I should embrace play. I think this is. Yeah.
I mean, right? Like the word play also is like when you fit two objects together and it's looseness between the two, right?
Yeah, we talk about this a lot.
This is one of Epi's favorite metaphors.
Oh, I love it. No, it's great.
I've hit the trigger.
Yeah.
No, but it's exactly it, right? Like somebody's like coloring in the lines, right? Like somebody's like, and you're just like, okay, so what can I do within here? Like what kind of freedom do I have within these constraints? That's good stuff. That's
and if it moves a little this way, a little that way, that's the juice right there. That's not damage. That's like how it needs to work to be operable.
It's a thing. Like sometimes I'll like have a bluesk.
We call them bluesks. Blue sky posts.
I'll have like a bluesk size game that I'll put out there, right? Like I'll just like say, and usually these are just like, I can't think of one off but the dome at the moment, but like describe a movie that you would only watch with your mother-in-law or something like that. Like make up, and not necessarily a great example, but like oftentimes people would be like, well, how do you define movie? I'm like, I want you to define that.
Right. Yeah.
You
or like, well, what if you don't have a mother-in-law?
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
and then invent one. And this isn't like me just being exasperated at like the internet or anything like that. I'm like, this is the play, right? Like that's the thing. That is where the game is. Like you get to do what you want in there, and.
Well, I'm starting to get the sense that we could talk forever.
Yeah.
Probably for the sake of our storage and recording time, we probably should go ahead and wrap it up. So here's our 2 questions.
Sure.
You can choose one to answer and take
It's
your
a
time.
game.
It's a game.
Yeah, it's a game.
Yeah. Shockingly, the game designers decided to add a little game to this. Okay. So on our show, we talk about arcane gems, which are these little moments in games that are on our shelf that we've read or played, that even if the game itself isn't our favorite thing, this little bit of it is like, oh, I want to surface this to show it off because it does something really wonderful or precious or beautiful or interesting or whatever. So one of the questions is there an arcane gem of being at a convention like this, doing the kind of game that you do, that you would like to surface to kind of be helpful or inspirational or just to share with our scholars, listeners? Then the second question is there someone that you've played with at a convention or at an event or boothed with that has done something that inspired you, or that you model something you do now on how you learned it from them? And what is the follow-up?
Yeah. You don't need to name the name. We're more concerned about what you learned from them.
This might combine the two. I don't know
Yeah?
how I don't know how arcane this gem is.
Right,
but
yeah.
I realized my mistake in this booth that I made, where like I hand painted my backdrop.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right, and that's not the mistake. It is a mistake. That was a lot of time I spent on that.
Yeah.
But like, I wanted to make this point about how things are imperfect, because I'm not an artist. So when I hand paint this stuff, it looks like some amateur hand painted stuff, and I don't care that it doesn't look great compared to all these beautifully printed,
Well,
everything
it
like
stands
that.
out because it's different, and that is part of the point. Right?
But what I realized is that was me making an artist statement.
Yeah.
And that is not a convention. A convention is a game. Where you are trying to bring the players in, and you giving a speech is not a game.
Right.
So then I realized, oh man, like I did give a nice little presentation of myself in these banners, but that wasn't the game.
That wasn't the assignment.
That wasn't the assignment.
Yeah.
So and you know why? Because I think I was thinking about social media and about how this will play great on social media. But that's a foghorn.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that is such a valuable thing to be like, okay, I know that now. Like,
I know that
like
now.
before the end of this convention, I'm like, okay, no, I know that now. All right.
Don't give speeches from your. I mean, it was the equivalent of a speech, and so there was a thing that I've seen this in multiple booths. But the last convention I was at, where I was boothing, someone had a cork board or reasonable stuff, something thereof, and people were just adding their ideas to the cork board. Right, and they came in with it already seated because nobody ever wants to be the first one.
Yeah.
And I had seen that and said to myself, I got to find some way to make that my booth. And then I just got tired of thinking about it, because it's game design. It's actually what game? And then I realized today, I was like looking at my 3 panels. I'm like, I could have had 3 bare trees, and everyone came up with a sticky note, and they could have voted between the 3. That would have been the game. It's like, which of the 3 things you're going to put your sticky note on, or which color you use of sticky note. I was like, oh man, like a week too late with the game design.
Yeah, you have.
That's good.
You have green. I'm like, so you have green, yellow, and red sticky notes. So you can do what season.
What
is
season
the
is
tree?
it? Which season are we voting for, or whatever? But like, too late. So, but it was one of those things where the realization was, this is a game convention. What am I doing not making my booth into a game?
Right.
So
that's good. That is really good.
I think it's the perfect place to end it. So we will do our... Well, so first of all, Gene, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
It's an honor to be here.
And it is really amazing that we got to run into you and spend time with you. Congratulations on the nomination for the Origins RPG of the Year nominee. Right?
Excellent.
Thank you.
So that's an amazing accolade that I don't have, but I think it really does acknowledge that the thing that you have put in front of us is like really laudable. So
thank you.
Thank you for that, and I'm glad that we've got to hang out, and hopefully we'll be new friends.
Excellent.
I hope so.
Here we are again at the Unwritten Earth Symposium, live in person at Origins Game Fair.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can change it up every time. That's fine.
I mean, I'm probably going to trim all of these out because I'm doing the same one each time, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm Nathan Paletta, of course, and I'm here with my good friend, Epediah Ravishall.
And I'm Epediah Ravishall. I'm here with my good friend, Vincent Baker.
Hi.
You may not have heard of Vincent Baker, so we should know. So I don't know why I'm doing that.
Spin the Beetle.
Spin the Beetle, yeah.
Kill Puppies for Satan.
Kill Puppies for Satan.
Classic.
That's a stone cold classic.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone earlier about Dogs in the Vineyard.
Yeah.
And it was like they've heard of it and were like, oh, I really wish I could play it. Like, I understand why, it's not in print or whatever. And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, have you played it? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, do you have it? I'm like, yeah, I have it. We often on the show talk about how we're old.
Yeah, that was our
and that's
review.
It. Nice.
How's the
Nice.
con? How's the con going for you?
Oh, it's going great. It's going great. I blew off the first day of the con, Thursday, to go visit my sister, who lives a couple hours from here. And that was wonderful. I had a really nice visit with my sister. Played some games. My nibbling Jax is really into this game, Chronology. Do you know this game?
Is it? No, I was thinking of Timeline.
It's very much like Timeline.
Yeah.
So it's a history trivia game where you put events in order in front of you. And that's really fun. And we played that one tile-laying game where the cards are on a diagonal. We played it, I think. Spreads out all over the table. The cards are on a diagonal. I can't remember the name of it.
I can't think of the name of it either. I know which one you're talking about.
Cards are on a diagonal. The cards have to overlap at different angles.
Oh, okay.
And then the cards can't, you can't touch a new card. And fun game.
It's a fun game. I agree with that.
And then we played the second time ever. We played a game that I'm making called Curious and Curiouser, which is a breaking the ice, kind of getting to know you party game.
Okay.
I'm running away with the interview on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
That's good. That's good.
Well, we've been talking about party games. It's come up from talking to some of the other folks on the show floor.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen a little bit of a little bit of excitement light up in everyone's eyes, kind of being like, ooh, let's talk about party games a little bit more. I feel like over the years your heart has been in, I should be making party games. Is that true?
Yeah.
Why?
Is that true? And why?
A lot of the things you reference for games to look, games to take inspiration from and learn from are like card games, like party card, trick-taking games, or other kind of quote-unquote traditional, play them with your uncles kind of games.
This goes back, right? But the social footprint situation, like a party game has got a very low social footprint, right? Like compared to role. Wait, does it? Man, I am tired.
Compared to all right, we're going to get together for an entire evening and sit down and make characters and
you can just pick up a party game at any moment.
Yeah. We have Thanksgiving at Serena's every year. And this game, In the Manner of the Adverb, comes out every year. I hope Serena and Julian aren't listening to this because, I hate that game. I hate that game so much. And I used to love it, but it comes out every single year. And there are really only so many adverbs, right? And you discover after you've played it 20, 30, 80 times that of the adverbs, only about a quarter of them are fun in the game. And so then you've played the entire game, right?
Yeah.
There's no more In the Manner of the Adverb for me. And so, Toby, our youngest, and I were thinking about, we ought to be able to design games for that environment, design games in that space, that so we can stop playing In the Manner of the Adverb for once.
I got to say, as long as we're sharing stories about playing party games, my youngest nephew is really into, I don't know, this is maybe not even a party game, but it's the alphabet game. You'll start and you'll lay, we'll do things like names, think of names, and you go Adam, I'll go Brian, and
Charlie,
and then we just keep doing that. But the thing I love about it is my youngest nephew is really into that, and I was there at the table when I realized I watched him do it, where he was like, "Let's play again, and we'll do names again," and then he was like, I'm counting on my hands. This is a podcast. and then he's like, "You go first," because he wanted his name.
Right.
And it was so good to watch. It was such a fun moment of what is otherwise a pretty. I mean, it's not a tedious game. It's a game you play with kids, right? You enjoy it because you're playing it with the kids. But just this, just watching him work through, like, wait a minute, depending on where we start, it could be my turn when it's my name.
Have I told you how Simone cheats at those games?
Oh, how does Simone cheat?
Simone's 6. We play lots of these kind of word game things. And she's very, right now, it's more of the, like, what am I? So, like, I'm a creature that lives in the sea. I have big sharp teeth, that kind of thing. We'll go through a couple rounds of that, and then she'll have one, and I'll start guessing. It's like, nope, that's wrong, nope, that's wrong. I'm like, okay, can you give me another hint? I'm a creature lives in the sea. I have, tentacles. I'm like, okay, octopus. She's like, no. I'm like, squid? She's like, no. Can you give me another hint? And she's like, I'm also very fast. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm guessing more. I'm like, okay, you have to give me another hint, or you can just tell me. She's like, it's popcorn. I'm like, she gets me every time, and she is so gleeful that she's pulled one over on old Dad.
Yeah.
I was never gonna get there.
That's good.
So
that's good.
That's my party game story playing with 6-year-olds.
There is a version of that game where instead of like coming up with the thing ahead of time, you keep trying to think of the best answer to the question that's going the longest.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like something that the eventual answer does need to fit into all of the...
You can't go popcorn. You can't popcorn it, which is kind of neat. Like, that's a neat little variation.
So, Toby and I came home from Thanksgiving, and I designed a game, and Toby designed a game.
Yeah, that's great.
Toby's 20 now. Toby's game is, I'm an animal, vegetable, or mineral writer. And so, I think of what I am, same as always. But then you propose scenarios to me from a list or from cards. I forget quite how it works. Mm-hmm. And then I describe what happens in that scenario. So, for instance, I would say, okay, I'm an animal. And you would say, we were all going to go skydiving together, but...
That's good. That's good.
I'm like, they just didn't have a parachute that would fit me. They just did not have a parachute that would fit me.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Oh, you have to tell us
what was
yours?
Oh, mine is in the venerable tradition of... questions on cards games. Do you know the game The Ungame?
Is it like
from the 70s card game?
No, I don't know if I know
this. This is maybe the 10th worst game I know. Terrible game.
Now we need to know what the other 9 are.
Well, it starts with the lotto, so I mean.
Okay, sure.
There's this game called Dragon's Gold. Anyway, whatever. The Ungame is a family game, but it was created, I think, by like family communication therapist kind of people. Mm. And what you don't need in a fun family evening environment is untrained, unmoderated, undirected therapy.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And so I remember I was 7 years old or whatever, and we're playing this game, and the question was, describe the ideal mother. Mm-hmm. And we children all described my mom's mom, not my mom. She literally left the room in tears, my mom. Like, it's horrible. Like, social sabotage kind of game.
Yeah.
And so many of the you draw a card and it has a thought-provoking question and you're supposed to answer the thought-provoking question. So many of those games are so bad. My game is better in 3 important ways. Okay. Do you want me to tell you the 3 important ways?
Yes, please.
Okay. Way number 1 is the scoring system, which is that at the beginning of the game, you write down a color and you write down a number greater than 10 and you write down somebody's name and you write down this list of about 10 things. And then any time from now on, if somebody says one of those words, you get a point. And so the effect of that is that as conversations develop, nobody's going, let's get back to the game. Mm-hmm. Because, we're having a conversation. Right. And so we're all listening to each other.
Yeah.
So that's the first good thing. Second good thing is that I don't draw a card and answer the question. I have a handful of, 2 or 3 cards or whatever, and I choose somebody else to ask the question, too. So that gives us all sort of this moderating. And the third good thing, so we kind of control the flow of the conversation, right? And the third good thing is that I am not interested in therapeutic questions or deep questions or anything like that. I take the surrealist view that a juxtaposition can make you more real. You can startle you into being real. And so it's questions like, oh no, I'm going to completely blank on the questions. We played this game Thursday night. Last night we played this game, and I'm going to blank on the question. But so it's things like, name one of your favorite working clowns, living or dead.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Or,
what makes someone one of my favorite clowns? That's the first.
Yeah.
I mean,
the first problem that I need to solve.
Do you not have favorite working clowns?
I don't know if I have any favorite clowns.
I'm trying to think of
working or not working. I certainly don't have any favorite unemployed clowns.
My friend Bruce, I asked this question, but my friend Bruce told a story about a great clown that he was friends with, local in Pelham, Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. His name was, I actually don't remember his name, but we were going to call him Mr. Buttons. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Buttons was having some kind of conflict with Pelham town cops. He was filming an interaction or something, so they hit Mr. Buttons with some kind of thing where he had to appear in court to defend himself against some kind of citation. I don't know what. And so he distributed flyers and printed tickets and gave free tickets to everybody.
Make it a happening.
Make it a happening. Make it a performance. Right. Yeah. Of Mr. Buttons versus the Pelham town cops. He showed up in court with his red nose on. The courtroom just packed with his fans. Yeah. That's great. Isn't that great?
That is great. And also, now that I said the word, I don't have any favorite unemployed clowns. I'm like, wait, I know someone who's employed, but not as a clown. I used to work with a lady who was in arts education, but she had gone to clown school, done a performance arts degree with a clowning concentration. Mm-hmm. And so we would talk about that sometimes, and it was so she had all these opinions about performance from the perspective of a clown, but she was but can't work as a clown. I'm in arts education. I like that too, everything. But it's but I did go to school for clowning.
I read Emmett Kelly's autobiography, but he's not a living working clown.
Well, it says the working clown, living or dead.
Oh, okay, but he's not my favorite because his whole shtick was making fun of the Wobblies, right? That's his whole thing, right?
Immediate F tier status as a clown. Only pro-union clowns in this house.
Yes. If you're a clown aficionado and you know what I'm saying is wrong, please tell us. That was my takeaway reading it. But one thing I remember about it, I'm not saying this is not a commentary on his character at all, but I didn't hear much about his kids or his family or anything like that, but he certainly told you how much he made per hour at every single job. And I think that's maybe more about the time period in which he, the Depression era, it's wild. He's got an account of there was a big circus fire that he was there for. I can't remember.
In Hartford, Connecticut?
I think it might be
the
one.
Big circus fire in Hartford, Connecticut?
And
I don't know.
Again.
Vincent, would you like to tell us about the Great Circus Fire in Hartford, Connecticut?
I would like to tell you one fact about the Great Circus Fire. These enormous tents, right? Packed full of people. They were waterproofed with paraffin.
Yes.
Under gasoline lamps, with gasoline lamps under them.
So, as we are now doing, the premise of your game has now led us into a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
So I guess that's effective, just telling us about the game, not even playing the game.
And if I had written Emmett on my sheet,
I
would have scored a bunch of points
Clown, certainly.
Yeah.
So where's the intersection for you of taking a party style game and being and I also am learning stuff from this for use in our more nerdy community tabletop, truly true role playing games, as we call them here on our show.
Well, I have a couple of perhaps true role playing games that are party games. Firebrands.
Oh yeah.
I think of as role playing party games. Murderous Ghosts.
Yeah.
And I guess that I think of those, Murderous Ghosts was the first one, and I just went back to what is the lightest social footprint I can make? What is the most accessible role-playing game I can come up with?
I don't know if I shared this story on the podcast, but I witnessed a horror convention where Vincent, myself, and Brett Gillen, and we were all trying to sell our horror games. You were the only one to sell one, and it was Murderous Ghosts. And it was an amazing thing to watch.
Oh, yes.
A couple of young women came to the table, and they asked about, I think, and you like walk them through like a part of it.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember what the.
I do.
Oh, you do? Yeah,
I
you
do
tell
remember.
it. Yeah.
I don't remember, but I remember the key detail. So they were supposed to describe something scary, and they've encountered this ghost or whatever. And she said that it's a gurney with a dead body on it, and bugs are just pouring off of it. And then I watch her think of something scary, right?
I remember this.
And her face reveals that she has thought of something scary. And then I watch her decide to say the scary thing, right? And the scary thing was, and some of the bugs are fake. And then she closed the book, as a little book, she closed the book and put it down and walked away.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the next day, we're sitting there, and they come running to the booth to buy that. So you know that they just spent the whole night being like, what's the deal with the fake bugs?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on with the fake bugs?
Not that we weren't going.
Yeah, we were doing
bugs.
the same.
What is the deal with the fake bugs? That's so weird.
Yeah, I think that is my favorite, or one of my favorite role-playing experiences to have witnessed, right? Like, to not actually be a part of, but, like, watch, because I was like, yeah, just seeing them, like...
the wheels turning.
Yeah, the wheels turning is definitely just dawning on them. There was also this heightened thing where we were fine, we were enjoying this horror convention, but we had already learned that nobody at this horror convention needed us for anything, right?
Yeah.
Like, they were buying DVDs, kids are running around making up their own horror games just on the spot. Like, it wasn't because we had like the group of kids that were breathlessly talking to us about the Michael Myers that was chasing them, but it was just like a guy in a Michael Myers outfit that they keep seeing, and like they're having fun, they don't need us.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, not on the mic, sometimes we do talk not on the mic, about kind of the difference between boothing at the convention and I think of it as attending as a civilian. Even though we do have some scheduled stuff for running games on demand, but like I don't have anything that pressing on my time. I'm not running a booth. When's the last time you were actually like boothing at a convention like this?
I was trying to remember. It would have been a PAX Unplugged, and it would have been a long time ago. I think it would have been the second PAX Unplugged. So whenever that was.
And other than interruptions because of pandemic and
global events,
global events, all the unpleasantness, is there a particular reason that you have not done boothing, or is it just kind of you don't feel like you need to, or you haven't been going to conventions? I'm kind of reflecting because I feel like a lot of our interactions and first base time was at like the Forge booth back in the day.
Yeah.
So in my head, I do think of you in that role as like I'm at the booth, I'm telling people about my games.
Well, it was weird. I was just at the IPR booth doing that. I'll tell that in a second.
Sure.
I used to booth with Joshua A.C. Newman and Hannah and Evan, and we would try to get together 4 to 6 publishers to go to PAX East. We did a couple of PAX Easts, I think, PAX Unplugged, and collectively we decided we were not doing it anymore. And I say collectively, but if they had decided that they were going to keep doing it, I would have still been in, right? Like they were the organizers, and they were taking on the entire weight of organizing. Yeah. And at some point, that became not worth it for them, and I certainly was not going to take on that. So I think that just not organizing it is the main reason I haven't kept doing it. So this would have been right before the pandemic, 2019 maybe.
Yeah.
Wait, I can narrow it down. I think it was 2018. No, that would have been a PAX East. Whatever. And I was exhausted. I was worn out from trying to sell games, which I am still worn out trying to sell games. But what I mean is,
I mean, whomst amongst us?
Yes. I stopped being any good at it. Like I stopped being effective as a person in the booth.
Okay.
And it was kind of fun just now at the IPR booth to not have that experience again. Like I expected, if I was sitting in the booth, I was going to kill the booth dead. But that's not what happened. It was fun, and I unlike the last time, I was able to greet people as they approached. I had a pattern that I actually had some energy in it instead of being dead.
I think Meg did that, where she would with Apocalypse World. You had the great thing where Meg would just read.
Yeah, she would
playbook,
cold read people. Yeah,
they were going to be, and that comes to the art of selling a game at a con. That I was like, that was exquisite to watch that happen. Like,
I feel like I use a lot of the same GM skills for like being at a booth and kind of trying to match an energy or kind of just do that read and be like, are you actually interested? Are you just doing the walk by? Are you engaged in what's happening, or are you kind of like holding back? Like, there's a similar set of muscles that I feel like running games and boothing both exercise. So if I'm doing both at a convention, I'm like totally wiped because I can't do both over and over.
I don't think I've ever both booth and run games at a convention. I don't think I ever have. There was a really funny one at the IPR booth. Epi was there, and there was this guy who was completely. My read of him was that he did not want to be interrupted. He was looking at the books. He was engaged with the stuff in the booth, but it was not appropriate to approach him. Right, like that was my read on him. But Epi was standing there, and we were chatting, and I said, "Yeah, no, this is really fun. I even have a line and everything." And so I go over and I interrupt this guy and I say, "Hey, can I demonstrate my line on you?" Because I'm trying to tell Epi my line, and I do, and it was actually great. Like it drew him out. He was really engaged.
Yeah. That was fun.
But that, like at the end of when I was doing it regularly, I just had no energy for anything like that. I couldn't see people, couldn't raise any, couldn't muster myself to
selling a thing that you have put all that time and effort into, that you believe in, that you have a lot of energy for. It's still hard to have that energy at that level needed to sell it for hours on end. Like and it's not even just the hours on end, because sometimes it's only like for a couple hours a day for like a weekend every 4 months. But even then, it really does kind of wear on you. I think part of it is that you're starting from scratch each time, right? Yeah. Like, this is the thing that, man, I'm going on a tangent here, but this is the thing that I run into demoing my games. I have a game. Here's the section of it that I know I can get out in a demo. You know, this is the iceberg, right? This section that's in the demo, and then you got this massive thing underwater, and it's like, I really want you to experience that massive thing underwater, but I'm not ever going to be involved in that. All I'll ever see is the part that's above the water, and that wears on you.
It's like seeing the first 5 minutes of a really good movie over and over.
Yeah.
It's like, I know the rest of it is good, but I'm sick of this 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I remember that. I remember saying to people at the end of whole con games sometimes, and at the end of demos for sure, saying, okay, and what is going to happen what's going to happen next is, and trying to describe. And trying to.
It's like, and then you'll start having fun.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And they're already having fun.
Yeah.
Like, let's be fair, but you're not anymore. You're enjoying an experience with other individuals, but there's a little spark there that isn't there because you never made it past that. Not never, but like you're just not making it past. You're just constantly restarting.
When Under Hollow Hills came out, I ran the same scenario for Under Hollow Hills at conventions 5 or 6 times. And it was a full-length scenario, and it always went different, and it was always fun. But then I was like, yep, here we are again. Here we are again. And at the same time, when I would try to write different scenarios, they wouldn't work, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes there's a little bit of alchemy of, like, this particular intro works for conventions. And it's hard to replicate it.
The early days of doing Dread, we would write unique scenarios. Like, we'd sign up. This was before Games on Demand. We would sign up to run 6 games over the course of the weekend, and then we'd write 6 unique scenarios. And like, that's one of the things, if I would go back in time after I got done throttling young Epi, I would be like, listen, a couple things wrong with this. Number one, you're spending all your time writing these scenarios that you just play at a convention once. It's a tremendous. But number 2, you're just encouraging the people from the first scenario to join the second scenario, to join you don't reach new audiences. It's fine to have people who enjoy the game. You love it when people enjoy the game, but you need to reach new audiences.
Right. By providing a unique experience each time, the same 6 people have now played Dread with you 12 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of at least getting 1 or 2 new people at the table each time. Because someone's like, well, I already played that one. So I'll do something else.
And so eventually, like with Dread, I settled on a single scenario, and I even like reduced I changed how I asked questions. I actually would go round robin asking, like I did everything to narrow it down so I could do like not even a whole length one, but like get people going. That was fine. It was fun. I would do it, but it was the same thing. Like, okay, now I've done that. Now I'm bored of that. Like I could do this in my sleep. I'm literally going to fall asleep while we do this. No, that's not true. But like, yeah, it wears on you.
Part of why it's like, well, maybe I'm going to have something new for this convention. Like, maybe I'll have something I'm playtesting. Have something where I'm like, I'm excited about this. To like have in my bag to maybe do can be like a good both a good thing just to like keep your own energy up. But I think there's also that kind of drive to be like, I have another idea I want to pursue. Yeah, and you don't want to get locked in that. Like, and I'm kind of bored with the thing I've been doing. Don't want to get locked in with that.
Should we
pose our questions?
Bring the mood up by posing our questions.
I know. It's like sometimes I feel like we do get into like the plight of the poor independent game designer making our fun games and connecting with people over the table. And
I have to play games for work.
My life is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Right, so we have 2 questions, and you can decide which one you want to answer.
Okay.
The first one is, in context of one of the topics on our show is arcane gems, where we go into our collections to bring out a nugget of wisdom from a game that maybe we haven't played in a while or ever, or read, out of the shelf of shame or something like that.
Yeah.
So in terms of going to conventions, running games for people, boothing, all those things, is there an arcane gem that you would like to bring to light for our scholars? This is a good thing from doing this kind of thing, right? Okay. The second question is there someone that you've played with at a convention or something that someone has done at a table you've been at that influenced you in how you approach playing games at conventions?
Well, the answer to the second question is certainly yes. Absolutely, positively yes.
That's all we needed. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, so for an arcane gem, so I can't remember who pointed it out to me. Maybe this counts. Maybe you'll tell me to do over and come up with a different answer.
The chances are low.
Yeah.
I can't remember who pointed this out to me, that at a convention game, what you want is for them to go play the game. Not for you to fulfill them having played the game.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so cliffhangers are better than satisfying endings.
Yeah.
And the best is to give the players the promise of, to show the players the hidden gem. So show the players the promise of what the game.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
We were just, the story we told of the murderous ghosts with the bugs, right? Like, it's an earworm. It's incomplete. Your brain just keeps cycling over it until they psychological warfare on your customer. I like it.
No, that's what we do. Wait a second. Okay, it is just possible that it was Jim Crocker who was complaining about it. Who told me that playing games with the designers is not satisfying and good because we have this agenda, which is to send him away wanting to play the game instead of giving him the experience that he paid money for. Hi, Jim.
You listen to the show?
He does listen to the show, so.
Might have been somebody else.
Friend of the show, Jim
Friend
Crocker.
of the show, yeah.
Jim likes games.
Jim does like games.
I need to stop and say hi to him next time I see him. We've passed a couple of times now.
I had a thought which was, I console myself with this. I don't know if it's true, but sometimes if I run a game and I'm like, I get the read that someone in was like, oh yeah, that was okay, but like they were engaged and they were like doing the things, but I can kind of feel like they weren't really like fully satisfied or whatever. I'm like, I wonder if they're going away being like, I could run it better than that guy. Right? I'm like, maybe that's what they're thinking.
I have heard that about me.
Yeah, that people think they can run your games better than you.
Yeah, a big part of my...
That's part of your sales?
That's part of my sales.
That's the
I heard
mobile game commercials you see.
Yeah. No, I heard that from Paul Sega, who said, people go away saying, well, if Vincent can run this game, I can. Hi, Paul.
Yeah, hi, Paul. I can't guarantee that Paul listens. early, even before we had the book out. Oh, no. The story requires that the book was out. The book for Dread was out. I was running it. Somebody died, and then they left the table. I'm sorry.
The character
died, and then they left the table. And I was utterly disheartened. I thought I had ruined this person's experience. I felt really bad about like that. And really, like, it was socially awkward at the table for a little bit because they just wandered off. And I trailed off what I was saying, and people were looking at each other and were just, like, having this, like... But then I kind of, like, brought it back, and we got back into the game. And then, like, 20 minutes later, they showed up again with the book that they wanted me to sign it. Like, they had left to go buy it from the dealer hall. The relief at that table. Like, everyone at that table was like, oh. But yeah, as I say, that has to fit that. Like, that must have been like, I can beat this game. Yeah. Right? Like, I lost this time, but I won't next time. Or I will run it every time. I don't have to
then
lose
I won't.
to it. Yeah.
The only way to win is to run the game.
Yes.
Well, Vincent, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
For
my pleasure.
taking
My
some
pleasure.
time. You don't talk to us ever outside of the mic, so I'm glad we were able to bring you into this situation.
Should we refer to you as the other Tracy?
Tracy's fine.
Tracy's fine.
The other Tracy is also fine.
Yeah.
It's great branding.
Everyone
remembers it.
I think you said, is it Tracy? I was like, the other Tracy? You're like,
I
saw him on the sheet.
It started as I changed my handle in a fit of pique because my previous handle was the name that someone chose for their podcast, and I kept getting tagged. And I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'll be the other Tracy. Man. I'm the unimportant Tracy. And it turns out that it's really memorable.
Yeah.
So
it is.
It worked really well.
All the greatest things like that come as a result of just a spur of the moment fit of pique, I think. Here we are again for the Unwritten Earth Symposium podcast, the show that I forgot the name of again. Because I still want it to be 200 a day.
Yeah.
Someday. We're here at Origins. I am Nathan Plutta. I'm here with my good friend, Epediah Ravishall.
And I'm Epediah Ravishall, and I'm here with my longtime internet friend, first time in the flesh friend, the other Tracy.
Hey, it's me, the other Tracy.
I just walked up while the two of you were talking, and I was like, oh, obviously Tracy and Epi know each other, because I think I have met you at the Origins Games on Demand from, like, the before times.
Before. At least pre-pandemic.
Yeah, pre-pandemic, yeah. And then I put that together with, like, oh, right, you have not been to Origins since the, like, before times.
Yeah.
Like, the early 2000s or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just put together that, like, oh, the two of you have just met for the first time.
Yeah. It's possible we have been at, like, a Metatopia at the same time and didn't know it. But, this is the first time meeting Epediah in person. I'm thrilled.
As we all are when we meet Epi.
Oh, God. Oh, no. I know.
Did you know he's the Jenga guy?
Yeah.
That Epi? Epi. You're not
the other Epediah.
You're not the other Epediah. Time to change your handle.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, I'm thinking of there wasn't another Dread, but there were two horror games.
No, there was
the other Dread.
Yeah, there's Dread.
Raphael's.
Yes.
Whatever. I forget his last name. But,
I'm blanking on it right now too.
Yeah.
But it's the first book of the Pandemonium.
Right.
The subtitle that he put on it.
Yeah. And so that the shorthand for that became the Dread that's not the Jenga Dread.
Yeah.
So you have Jenga Dread and non-Jenga Dread. Yeah. That again, that's a deep cut at this point.
Deep cut, yeah.
Oh my boy. So we're here doing the Games on Demand thing, which we've talked about a little bit already. Tracy.
Yes.
What are you running? What are you doing here?
Well, I had meant, with all the best intentions, to have a playtest of Vampire Martian Hunters from Jacksonville ready to go. But the realities of life and game design meant that I was writing moves yesterday, and I decided not to try and bring that to a place where the idea is that the people who are coming in are going to have a good gaming experience. And I could not guarantee that my anxiety and lack of my own rules knowledge would bring that. So I have switched over to bring Fiasco, which is a classic, I felt like riding a bicycle again, with much more emotion. And then also my own school days, because two games that I can run with my eyes closed, basically.
When we were talking earlier, you'd mentioned like getting ready for the con where you still had it in your head that you were going to bring the Vampire Martian Hunter, and you were like the old hustle, like, and I was like, I felt that viscerally, just remembering the days of like you would, again, this is a thing that I bring up on our podcast all the time, and I think everyone's probably sick of it, but like before crowdfunding, you would release a game at a convention, and so like there was so much work that went into like getting that game to that point where you can release it at a convention. That like we would talk about, like there was a point in the year they got close enough to Gen Con that all your game designer friends were cranky,
right,
and desperate for everyone else to take a look at like the new thing that you're trying to get to work, or and it's just the old hustle, right?
Because I mean, most of my bigger games have all been kickstarted, but at least then, I don't know how it is now because I have no idea how anything is now.
Right.
But like the rhythm of it was the same. You just had a more potentially finished looking product because you had the money in hand already, right? So like, I was still like emailing Jason at IPR and being like, how many copies of Iron Edda can I bring to you, like from my living room?
Yeah,
right. I live in town, right? I can bring them I can bring them straight to Origins, and I thought vaguely about trying to get an ash can of vampires together for this show, and just no, I don't even have the first characters done, let alone a 32-page, self-printed ash can. So,
but that final sprint there that you did, like obviously you didn't hit the finish line there, but my question, this isn't like the official question, but like
it's okay, we can have more than one.
Yeah, how productive did that feel? I mean, I guess this is a question for after the con when you're looking back on it, but like
it felt the wrong kind of too productive.
Right,
because
like more like manic than like actually like functionally.
That's exactly
moving forward.
Because like I think back, there was one year that I got to be a guest at Big Bad Con, and it was when I was working on both Iron Edda Accelerated and Fate of Carthun for Evil Hat, because Carthun, the fantasy setting that Brian Patterson and I did, was going to become Evil Hat's fantasy setting.
Yeah.
And then Blades in the Dark happened.
Yeah.
And obviously, listen, right choice. Go with go with Blades in the Dark. But so I was on the flight out to LA. I'd never flown to the West Coast before. The plane leaves at like 3 a.m. and I'm flying to LA and I'm typing like Fate stuff, stunts and things into PDFs that then did not save properly. So when I got to the hotel to try and print the PDFs, none of it was there. So I had to redo it. And as I was working on the vampire stuff, I'm like, okay, well, I need to do this move, and I'm starting to like hone in on the flow of the work. It started to feel like 4:45 in the morning, 1,000 miles, 1,000 feet in the air above. And I went, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like I'm the only one who is making me do this.
Exactly, right? And if there had been another reason for Vampire Martian Hunters from Jacksonville to be the thing I had to do this weekend, then I would have pushed and probably gotten it done.
Yeah.
Games on Demand ain't that. It's not about me having my game ready. It's about having a game ready for people to play.
Yeah.
So it's I know myself better now.
For
And
sure.
I didn't want to feel that way and bring that energy with me to playing a game with people.
That's something we talk about a lot too, where it's like having the convention be like a deadline is something that I think is in both of our rhythms. There's the good version of that, which is, okay, now I have something to aim for. Like, if I want to have this thing that I've either promised or that I kind of have this intention to have, like, ready in a state where I can share it, whether that's a state to play it or play test it or to give someone an ash can or whatever. The convention is a really good deadline because it's so material. It's like, I'll either have it by then or I won't. But then, pushing into that zone where it's like, oh, I have to get this done. And it's not good, right? Like but like getting it done isn't actually going to like make me happy or like move if I get it done today so that I'm stressed about it for the whole weekend, that's not better than me just pushing it off for a week and then doing the job I want to do on it for another 3 weeks.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like materially, in a month, I'll have the same thing.
Yeah,
but at least I won't be
and I'll
have
feel
a miserable
so much,
time.
and I'll have internalized it better.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
That's the thing about running your own game. You write the rules so they don't have to be in your head anymore. You said that earlier when we were chatting about something else. And like, if you've just written it, if you've just come up with it for the first time, and you're writing it for the first time, that's great. It's not in your head anymore, but it's not in your head anymore. Because you can't go back and suddenly pull on your history of having played it because you haven't done that yet. So like Origins Games on Demand is not the time to bring in the prototype playtest.
Or bring in the thing that's still in this like protean form that's still moving and you don't really have a great handle on it.
If like I hadn't been tired on Tuesday and could have had the playtest session with my friends ahead of time that we had scheduled that I had to scrub because kids take your brain and drag it through a knothole backwards, then it would have been different. But it wasn't, and I'm just glad, like, past me I would have still been upset that I didn't get it done, that I didn't, No, it's different. I want to take my time with the art this time, and that means being realistic with what the material concerns are. And the concern was the convention.
Like, deadlines can be motivators, they can be inspiration and whatnot, but you make decisions based on them that might not be decisions that you would otherwise make. And it comes down to like, because I've made some games where I'm like, the whole point of the game was that it was going to be done at this time, and that's fine, right? Because then it's like the decisions I'm making are about that.
Whatever it is what it is going to be at the time that I want it to be done.
And you can. That's the thing is if you have no other, you're not working with another publisher, right? You're just making a game because you want to make it. You can set whatever deadlines or arbitrary seeming constraints you want to make it the thing you want to be, right? Like for vampires right now, I have an InDesign document that's just 32 blank pages. And I'm going to write to that form for right now. Could I just write the whole thing and then go and lay it out and see? Yes. Could I also just say, no, you've only got 4 pages to handle the mutations. How are you going to deliver what you want to deliver with concision and clarity? And also the flavor you want in that space. And if I run into issues where I keep going, well, I can't enough times, then I'll change the form. I'll change that constraint then. But for now, I know what my target is, and it's this many pages. Boom.
Yeah. The interplay between the play material and the game design, right? That's something that like we both run into, and I think for me at least, that's like a productive part of the process where I'm taking the game, the processes, what I think people need to have in front of them, and then if I'm putting that all into like the handouts or references or whatever, and it turns out that something isn't fitting on the sheet, then I'm like, all right, is this a matter where this is something that's detailed, so it doesn't necessarily need to have every single thing here, and you can refer to the book, that's fine, or is it something where it's like, all right, if I trim one sentence out of this description, everything will fit on the sheet and it'll look good. And I'll just go back over to the rules and I'll trim that sentence out of the rules because it's kind of vestigial because that's why I can trim it out of this. And like that's a really productive interplay that isn't like efficient in terms of like I'm going to write all the words and then all the words are going to go into the document and then I'm going to maintain version control with all the changes and all that stuff. That's like a different project a lot of the time.
It totally is. And with this one, I've tended to not be fully aware of what it is that I'm writing while I'm writing it. Like, I had the pitch for Ironetta, and I could run the game. But I didn't know until I tried to make another edition that the whole game was about your relationship with the community that you're in and what those dynamics are. And that took 3 years of play of the other one and all the stuff that goes into it. And with this one, I'm not saying I'll know it when I finish it this time, but I want to know what the game is when the ash can is done. So when people ask, I can go, this is what it is, and here's what you're going to get out of it. Because I think I've always missed that, which has always affected my marketing after the fact. Right? Because if you can't talk about a game...
You can't elevator pitch it.
Right, and you don't know what to put in the blurb on a website or whatever, any number of things. So it's a real different process for me this time.
Well, and that's a real good insight into like what the what progression is in like being like the skill of game design, right? Like
it's weird to think about, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like that's what it is. Like you go through I always talk about putting in the reps. Like if you want, like, how do I get better at game design? I'm like, well, you got to make a bunch of games. And part of that is the like technical, like, how do probabilities work and what mechanics are going to create the effect that I want at the table. But then part of it is also like, I don't know what I know somewhere in my heart I know what the game is about, but I can't actually articulate that and it goes from like, until I played it, like you said, I played it for 3 years and now I know what the game is about. And like that horizon starts to shrink as you get better at game design so that you can actually like be mindful about producing that in both in your text, but then also how you talk about the game. Yeah. Getting artwork, all like that stuff.
Well, because it's not limited to the project I'm working on right now, too, because ideas don't stop. Like I've had another, there's another, I'm trying to replicate the roguelite Hades video game experience on tabletop via like a hex crawl and also Doom.
Good, because I can't play Hades because it hurts my wrists.
The game is called You O Mogus Vile 10 Million Imps. And the conceit is that you are in a Doom guy-like scenario, industrial, demonic, cyberpunk, whatever, and you have taken enough of this drug that you now owe a demon lord. But to satisfy this debt, you must actually kill imps in the arena that he has set up, where it is live streamed to everyone. So it's Logan's Run.
Yeah.
But then that lets you take a hex grid, and if you find known locations or NPCs, the conceit is at the beginning of your play, you place where those things go on the grid, and then you start in a random hex. And then it's hex crawls and very quick encounters, like dice rolls to figure out how many you've killed, what resources. And then you go and can develop relationships with the NPCs and everything. But I'm thinking about that in the same way I'm thinking about the vampire game while I'm actively working on vampires. So by the time I get to actually Mogus Vile on the front burner, that window will have shrunk, right? I won't have needed 3 years of play because it has literally just been simmering. I've got an Art Deco fantasy noir setting that's like the same kind of thing. And I'm more aware of these things than I was in the past. Like they're active tracks. When I think about that fantasy setting, I can feel it in my head. It has a tenor and a weight to it.
And you're in that position where you're able to take lessons you're learning from your current process on one game and be like, that actually gives me a good idea for this other thing that has been in the back of my brain.
Yeah, even if it's just how do I think about my own projects more clearly? So I can then articulate them more clearly. And
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good segue into our questions here.
Yes.
So we have 2 questions. You only have to pick one.
Okay.
One is on our show, we talk about arcane gems that lie within the games in our collection. And we spend a lot of time reading games that have been on our shelf that maybe we haven't read or haven't gotten to the table and being like, this thing in here is inspirational or interesting or does something different or gives me an idea, etc. So those are our arcane gems. The first question is there an arcane gem of the convention experience? Because you've been to a number of conventions that you would like to surface and share with the scholars or our listeners. And share with the scholars to kind of show off a little bit about why conventions are fun. And then the other question is there a lesson that you've taken from a game that you've played at a convention or something that you've seen someone else do that has influenced
impressed you or influenced?
So I was all gung-ho to find a convention gem and do that. And then that second question really drove it home for me because so and this is if I get a little emotional, I apologize. Years back, this would have been 2012. You know where I'm.
I know where you're going now.
I learned to play Fate. And I learned to play Fate from a game of Dresden Files at Gen Con, run by the late Morgan Ellis. Morgan was one of my dear friends. Obviously, no longer with us. The pandemic and other complications. So, and this is my first convention back here at Origins without Morgan.
Right.
And Morgan was like the person who I would just hang out with at Origins specifically. I'd see him at other cons, but like we roomed together a few times at Origins. The couches at the Big Bar on 2 were like we would just ensconce ourselves and people would come and go and it was a lovely time. I didn't realize what what I had gained in that first game of Fate
Yeah.
years back until yesterday. Because I came to the convention, didn't have anything scheduled yesterday, was hanging out, kept feeling like a little bit of weight on my soul, and I'm like, it's a convention I haven't been to in a long time. There's a lot of old feelings and old memories.
Yeah.
And then I realized that a lot of it had to do with Morgan not being here. And as I was driving home, I went, oh no. The first dirtbag vampire that became Vampire Martian Hunters from Jacksonville was the Black Court vampire that Morgan ran in that very first game of Fate. He played this greasy Black Court vampire who had, because Morgan was from Brooklyn, like he just dropped the New York accent on the guy, and man, you wanted to fuck him up because he was like strong and horrible and compelling all at the same time. And I didn't realize it until I was driving home last night, but like that sort of vibe is like a huge part of the game that I'm working on right now. And it wouldn't have happened unless I had wanted arguably one of the best GMs of Fate that has ever run it.
Ever done it. One of the greatest in the game to ever do it.
Absolutely. There are like 2 other names that I could put in the conversation, and that's it, because Morgan was that good at this game. And that's how I learned that, and that sliver of it got embedded in me because of a convention game, and is like coming out in my game design 13 years later.
Right. Yeah.
And that's like, you can't plan for that kind of thing.
Right.
But it kind of leans back into the arcane gems. Like, that's the magic of conventions if you engage with them on their terms, right? Go and meet people who are doing things that you want to do.
Yeah.
I wasn't a game designer when I started coming to Origins. I first came in 2009, and I was just a person. I'd never even played anything other than D&D. My second Origins, I played Dread, among other things. And that was my first indie game experience. And 2 years later, I made my first game, and now
That's awesome.
a long time ago. So conventions have been a huge part of like the DNA of my coming up as a game designer. And the most valuable part is meeting people who do the same kind of thing that you do, who do it in different ways.
Yeah.
And like understanding that you can, even if the connections don't hold the way that like in-person friendships do across time and space, like I just met Epi for the first time in person here, but we're talking like we have known each other for years, because functionally we have.
Yeah.
And like Nathan, you and I, like there's a
I mean, we haven't seen each other for 7 years, 8 years.
but there's still a sense of like, I know this person, and there are some things that haven't changed. That is that this is a comfortable person to talk to. And I value those things so much, because I'm a very social person who's been very isolated. So this is So you got a little bit of both questions in the sauce there.
Oh, that is perfect. Thank you for your time.
Of course. Thank you for doing this with me.
If people want more of the other Tracy and the games that you're working on, where should they look?
You can type in the other Tracy. It's all one word, TRACY. You'll find me anywhere handles are where I also am. I have an itch page. I've got an RPG trader spot now. I don't do drive-through RPG anymore, so my stuff's not up there.
Awesome.
But yeah, find me there.
All right. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now I have to unlock my phone before I'm going to make a lot of noise trying to unlock my phone. Now we do the awkward end.
Yeah, we kind of trail off while we bring that up. And then we'll kind of supercut that all at the end of the show. Yeah, and then we have an awkward, we don't know how to end these. So thank you, and we'll awkwardly kind of trail off over here.
Yeah. Unlock my phone and shut it off. That's all.
Yeah. That's our awkward sign off.
That's how we sign off.
Nice.
Yeah. Unless there's anything else you would like to say, but he already stopped the recording.
Not yet. I will.
Nope. I'm good.
You don't want to just shout pee pee poo poo?
Pee pee poo poo.